Chapter 845. Mo Yunyan couldn't take it anymore. She felt like a clown. She was so proud of her jewelry that was worth hundreds of thousands of yuan. She wanted to show it off. In the end, Jiang Yuning didn't even look at it, and gave 20 billion yuan worth of jewelry to a junior sister-in-law. I'm that kind of shallow and vulgar woman. Jiang Bengxia slapped her thigh and giggled. If you don't want it, can you give it to me? I'll give it to you. You've worked hard in Europe some time ago. You deserve a reward. Zhang Wanqing smiled faintly. Zhang Wanqing was referring to the fact that Jiang Bengxia had been detained during the Covenant of Darkness. Although she did not suffer much, it was inevitable that she would be frightened. This child could withstand the test. Thank you, auntie. Thank you, sister-in-law. Thank you, brother Tian. Jiang Bengxia was overjoyed. She smiled like a flower. Especially auntie. She's so domineering. She's the mother of the world. 20 billion Wuxia dollars. The hard work of the past few years was worth it. If she were on Wall Street, she might not be able to earn so much in her lifetime. Wanqing Zhixing, enjoy your meal. I still have a banquet to attend. I'll take my leave first. Seeing this, Mo Yunyan couldn't stay any longer. Her face turned red and green. She forced a smile and jumped out like a stray dog. Her face was swollen. She had no intention of staying there. She showed off that her family was rich, had good gestures, had branded cosmetics, and drank red wine. In the end, those big brands all belonged to others. This realm was too far apart. One was in the sky and the other was on the ground. There was no way to compare. It was impossible to catch up. Wanqing, let's meet again when we have time. Before Sululu left, she smiled flatteringly at Zhang Wanqing. She probably felt that if she could curry favor with the Jiang family, there would be a lot of benefits. The contrast between her arrogance and deference was very clear. Sigh, what's wrong with them? After they left, Jiang Zhixing felt that the world was overflowing with people's hearts. He shook his head and sighed. She used to be a good classmate. At this age, she's in her 50s and 60s. She's almost a grandmother. She still wants to compete for power, money, and status. Don't laugh at me. She's been like this since she was young. She's been praised and pampered by a circle of people for so many years. She hasn't gone through any trials and tribulations. Do you think she can make any progress? Zhang Wanqing also shook her head in disappointment. Even though she's almost 50 years old, she's still a young girl in terms of wisdom. Mo Yunyan walked out in a daze. She wanted to cry but had no tears. When she went down the stairs, she slipped and almost fell. Little hussy, how dare you challenge me, Mo Yunyan? Pa. She raised her hand and slapped the waitress opposite her, causing her to almost fall to the ground. When did I challenge you? The waiter was dumbfounded, but he didn't dare to say anything. Mo Yunyan even brought along bodyguards. One look and one could tell that he was either rich or respectable. How could a small fry like her afford to offend him? Mo Yunyan was treating this waitress as Zhang Wanqing. The more she thought about it, the angrier she got. I'm so angry. I'm so angry. Who do you think you are, Zhang Wanqing? All you have is some stinky money. How dare you show off in front of me? When I left, she didn't even send me off. She's so arrogant. No way. I'll definitely get my revenge. She clenched her silver teeth and trembled with anger. Zhang Wanqing was right. Even though this woman was 50 years old, she was still childish. She still wanted to compete with others. When they arrived at the hall, suddenly, Yindi frowned and stared at a tall girl wearing sunglasses. Hey, isn't this the superstar Li Huiyan? Why is she here? What superstar? She's just an actress. Can't you be more knowledgeable? Mo Yunyan said angrily. Nope. I heard that Mo Yuza invited her to his birthday party today, but she said she wasn't feeling well and politely declined. Yendi said, why is she here? Mo Yunyan looked back and her eyes lit up. TSK, she went to Jiang Tian's room. What do you think will happen if Mo Yuza finds out about this? Mo Yuza called Mo Yunyan his aunt. However, the Mo family had replaced the Lu and Song families. They were one of the top political families in Yanjin. There were too many family members in the family. Mo Yunyan was, in fact, a distant relative. In short, she couldn't use the power of the Mo family. However, Mo Yuza, who was the direct descendant of the Mo family, was different. He could. Haha. Where do you think Zhang Wanqing got so much money? I think Jiang Zhixing took bribes. Su Lulu said, fanning the flames. Yindi also said, that's right. She forced me to kneel. I can't just let this go. Is an apology enough? I want Jiang Tian to kneel before me. Mo Yunyan was beaming with joy. She snapped her fingers and said proudly, let Mo Yuza pressure her and scare her. Say that you want to investigate them. I'll see if she's not scared enough to kneel and beg for mercy. Jiang Zhixing will be safe after he retires? He'll be able to do whatever he wants. Bah. Yan Jianfan panicked and said angrily, oh my god, don't make trouble. Jiang Tian is too scary. We can't afford to offend him. He was known as the Master Kong of Jinlin City, because of his Dharma spells. I can't afford to offend him? Mo Yunyan smirked and said, who do you think he is? The President of the United States or the Emperor of Russia? There's no one in Wuxia that I can't afford to offend. I'm going to teach them a lesson. Old Yan, we have to vent our anger. This is about the reputation of our in-laws. Su Lulu also smirked and said, Jiang Tian might have some influence in Jinlin City, but this is Yan Jin. Besides, he's no longer the Master Kong of old. Everyone says that he's done for. I don't care. I want Jiang Tian to kneel and apologize to me. Yindi also said angrily, let me tell you, if you insist on doing things your own way, if you insist on acting recklessly, you will suffer losses and regret it. Yan Jianfan said angrily. He didn't have the right to speak in front of his in-laws. It was useless even if he said it 100 times. Tell them that Li Huiyan went to Jiang Tian's room. Mo Yunyan gave Yindi a look. Yindi called her husband Li Jianwei, who was at Mo Yu's birthday party. Yanjing Grand Hotel and Spicy Hot Pot Restaurant weren't far from each other. They were in the same compound. At the moment, the entire hotel was cleared out and no guests were allowed to enter. Everyone in the venue was either rich or powerful. An international pianist was playing a piece in front of a Yamaha piano in the distance. Not only were the rich and powerful gathered there, but there were also many popular actresses such as Yang Mi and Reba, which added a touch of glamour to the party. More than half of the top 20 tycoons in Wuxia were there, which showed how powerful young Master Mo Yuchen was in Yanjin. Happy birthday, young Master Mo. Many rich people raised their glasses and looked at the powerful young Master Mo with envy and admiration. As for the celebrities who were regarded as goddesses, they didn't even have the right to get close to him. Mo Yu's face was cold and his eyes were indifferent. He nodded slightly and took a sip. The top tycoons in Wuxia finished the wine in their glasses and didn't dare to leave a drop in it. Young Master Mo, I don't have much to give you. I bought a courtyard house in Yanjin as a gift. One of the richest men in China's real estate industry took out a key and said in a humble voice, thank you for your generosity. Haha, Brother Wang, it's just a courtyard house. Don't you think it's embarrassing to give it to young Master Mo? Another tycoon said with a fake smile. They were all around Mo Yuza, trying to please him like the eunuchs of the ancient emperors. Haha, that courtyard house was the old residence of an Iron Hat King in the Qing dynasty. The tycoon with the surname Wang laughed and said proudly. The Iron Hat King's residence. Ahem, Brother Wang, forget what I said. The tycoon smiled awkwardly and quickly hid behind the crowd. Hiss. At this moment, many tycoons sucked in a breath of cold air as if they had a toothache. The residence of the Iron Hat King in the Qing dynasty was extremely valuable. The land alone could be sold for billions if it was dismantled and sold. Moreover, it had cultural value and couldn't be replicated. Everyone sighed. No wonder Boss Wang's business was getting bigger and bigger. He had spent a lot of money to please young Master Mo. At this moment, Li Jianwei walked over and said in a low voice, Cousin Li Huiyan isn't sick. She's having a hot pot with a few friends at the Spicy Hot Pot restaurant. My family saw her. Mo Yu's face suddenly changed and his eyes turned cold. Li Huiyan had become popular in Wuxia and the rest of the world. She had received a lot of resources from Hollywood, and quickly became the most popular celebrity in Wuxia. Li Huiyan instantly became the target of many rich young masters. Even Mo Yuza fell in love with her at first sight. This time, Mo Yuza invited Li Huiyan to his birthday party, but she declined with the excuse that she wasn't feeling well. Now it seemed that Li Huiyan didn't give him face. Mo Yuza knew that Li Huiyan had a lot of resources. He even heard that Zhang Huchen from the Zhang family was supporting her from behind the scenes. However, in Mo Yuza's eyes, Zhang Huchen was nothing. Zhang Zhonghua hadn't even entered the sea yet. Haha, so Li Huiyan was pretending to be sick. How dare she not give face to me, Mo Yuza? She's got guts. Mo Yuza laughed self-deprecatingly. Deep in his eyes, there was resentment and anger. Chapter 846. Of course, a powerful and influential person like him couldn't marry a female celebrity like Li Huiyan. Big families were all connected by marriage based on benefits. Marrying a female celebrity was simply laughable. In the crowd, the female celebrity named Yang Mi sneered with a thick nasal voice. Young Master Mo, that Li Huiyan is very arrogant now. At the beginning of the year, she even trampled on a group of celebrity directors from Hong Kong. Now she doesn't even care about the celebrities from the mainland. She fanned the flames and said, "Last time, I was in the same group as her. She even ordered the director and a senior like me around. She's arrogant, but I didn't expect that she would even dare to go against you. She really doesn't care about you." Speaking of which, Yang Mi and Jiang Tian had some history. Back then, Jiang Tian had beaten up Lu Zikuan's son, Lu Jinrong, on Yi Gufeng's gambling cruise ship. At that time, Yang Mi was with Lu Jinrong. She was born in an alley and had very low quality. Her acting skills were clumsy, but she was willing to give up her good looks. She slept with investors and directors all the way. Now she was also one of the 4 young actresses. Her reputation was rising and her influence was growing. However, compared to Li Huiyan, she was too far behind. After all, Li Huiyan had already gone international and acted as the female lead in a big Hollywood production. Even the famous Guoji Miao paled in comparison. This made Yang Mi, who debuted at the same time as Li Huiyan, hold a grudge. She was extremely jealous and hateful. "What did you say?" Mo Yuza looked at Li Huiyan and snorted coldly. "Young Master Mo, Yang Mi was so scared that her face turned pale. Her legs went soft, and she almost sat on the ground. She knew that Mo Yuza was very obsessed with Li Huiyan. She originally hoped that with her glib tongue, she could dispel Mo Yuza's love for Li Huiyan and make him fall in love with her. However, she didn't expect that it would make Mo Yuza angry. One had to know that now that the Song and Lu families had withdrawn, the Mo family's status had risen. In the political, business, and cultural circles, who dared not to give face to the Mo family? There were some things that could not be said. Yang Mi's words had touched Mo Yuza's reverse scale. When they saw Mo Yuza's dragon face become enraged for a time, everyone present went silent like cicadas in winter. Their hair stood on end, and they didn't dare breathe loudly. The large hall was completely silent. There were more than 100 people, but not even the slightest sound could be heard. "Call Li Huiyan over," Mo Yuza said in a sinister tone. His face was as cold as ice, and his slightly widened eyes were filled with killing intent. Yang Mi immediately took out her elegant white iPhone and dialed a number, snorting coldly in her heart. Li Huiyan. Let's see how you explain this to young Master Mo. You're dead meat this time. Let's see how you're going to compete with me for resources in the future." A moment later, the call was connected. Yang Mi smiled and said, "Huiyan, young Master Mo wants to talk to you." 5 minutes later, Li Huiyan hurried over. Mo Yuza still had a smile on his face. He didn't seem to be angry. "Huiyan, I heard that you're having hot pot in spicy country? How did you recover so quickly?" "Young Master Mo," Li Huiyan's face tightened. Mo Yuza was nothing like Xiang Qian, Wan Chuha, and the other young masters he had met in Hong Kong. He was the real crown prince of Yanjin. His father was sitting in the sea and had a high position. She didn't think that Jiang Tian couldn't afford to offend Mo Yuza, but she didn't think that there was a need to cause trouble for Jiang Tian. "You better give me a proper explanation now, or I'll be angry." Mo Yuza chuckled, but everyone present felt a chill run down their spines. Everyone knew that offending Mo Yuza would lead to terrible consequences. No matter how rich you were or how powerful you were, as long as you offended him, he could remove your name in seconds. I'm sorry, young Master Mo. I have a friend who came back from abroad, so... Li Huiyan sounded helpless and apologetic, hoping that Mo Yuza would let her off the hook. Everyone broke out in cold sweat when they heard Li Huiyan's words. What kind of friend could be more precious than Mo Yuza? You've been in the entertainment industry for so long. How could you have such low EQ? Friend. Is your friend more important than me? Mo Yuza raised his eyebrows and pointed at Li Jianwei. Jianwei. Yes, young Master Mo. Li Jianwei quickly bowed. Call his friend over. Mo Yuza's face was filled with murderous intent. I'd like to see who he is that Huiyan thinks so highly of him. Young Master Mo, I think we should forget about it. Li Huiyan frowned. The scene in Hong Kong was still lingering in her mind. Back then, Jiang Tian had caused a bloodbath in Hong Kong in a fit of rage. Jiang Tian and Mo Yuza were going against each other. If anything happened to Mo Yuza, wouldn't she be a jinx? She really couldn't find any adjectives to describe it, so she added this sentence. That friend of mine has a bad temper. Dead silence. The whole place was dead silent. Everyone looked at Li Huiyan, as if she was an idiot. Their eyes almost popped out of their sockets. Soon after, a buzzing sound was heard, and noisy discussions could be heard. Is this Li Huiyan an idiot? How could she talk to young Master Mo like that? A female celebrity said in surprise. She probably doesn't know what's going on. Her hair is long, but her knowledge is short. The real estate mogul who gave the courtyard house away swirled his red wine glass and said, Does she think she can challenge young Master Mo by relying on Zhang Huchen? One word from young Master Mo and Zhang Huchen will have to kneel. Could it be that she's too immersed in acting as a domineering CEO? She thinks she can attract young Master Mo's attention and make young Master Mo like her even more by putting up a resistance? A mogul in the entertainment industry laughed sinisterly. The real domineering mogul doesn't have time to be lovey-dovey with you. Only death awaits if you resist. Everyone keep your voices down. If young Master Mo hears this, we'll all be in trouble. Someone looked nervous. Haha, I don't know how such a low EQ woman got into the entertainment industry. As for Yang Mi, she was laughing hysterically. She tried to hold back her laughter, but the corners of her mouth kept twitching. Do you think I have a good temper? Anger finally appeared on Mo Yuza's face. Although his voice was still calm, everyone knew that he was on the verge of exploding. Young Master Mo, I think we should just forget about it because he's... At this point, Li Huiyan was about to mention Jiang Tian's name. The most powerful overlord, Kong Teichu, the only overlord on the divine roll, Jiang Dixian, or Jiang Ligua, who crushed the superpowers in the world. However, this sentence became the fuse that ignited Mo Yuza's anger. Before she could finish, she was interrupted. Shut up. Mo Yuza was finally enraged. His handsome face was covered with frost, and his eyes were as sharp as knives. Li Huiyan, am I too nice to you? Or do you think my words don't matter in Yanjin? I don't care who he is. The point is, do you know who I am? At this moment, everyone was stunned and their hearts were pounding. Li Huiyan, you're really in trouble this time. You don't know how to talk. You're going to kill someone. In fact, Li Huiyan meant well. Jiang Tian and Mo Yuza both had their own trump cards. Plus, there was no real conflict between them. To put it bluntly, it was just a misunderstanding. There was no need to fight to the death. Li Jianwei, what are you waiting for? Mo Yuza glared at Li Jianwei and said coldly, I'm on my way. Li Jianwei was waiting for this. His mother and wife wanted to vent their anger, but they didn't have the courage to do it. They wanted to use someone else to do the dirty work. They wanted to use Mo Yuza to kill Jiang Tian. Jiang Tian's family was having a good time. Li Huiyan, who knew that Jiang Tian had returned to China, came to visit him. However, Li Huiyan was called away by her friend, so Jiang Tian didn't take it to heart. After all, Li Huiyan had her own circle of friends. Yanjin's high society wasn't that big, so it wasn't strange to see someone she knew. Suddenly, bang, bang, bang. Someone knocked on the door. Accompanied by Yendi, Li Jianwei walked in haughtily. You're Li Huiyan's friends? Li Jianwei looked at them with disdain. Young Master Mo Yuza wants to invite you over for a drink. Who's Mo Yuza? Jiang Tian frowned. Zhang Danfeng's face froze. He said uneasily. He's one of the princes of Yanjin who was on par with Lu Lishuan and Song Poju. Now that they're gone, he's the most powerful among the princes of Yanjin. I see. He should be looking for me. You guys eat first. I'll go take a look myself. Jiang Tian stood up with a smile and walked out of the door. I heard that Mo Yuza is looking for me. Who is it? Come out. Jiang Tian looked around and asked casually when he arrived at the venue of the birthday party. It's Kong Teichu, Li Huiyan's friend, so it's him. I thought it was Zhang Huchen. When Mo Yuza saw Jiang Tian, his pupils shrank and his mind went blank. He didn't feel good. At that moment, his heart was in turmoil. It was like the Yellow River had burst its banks. He couldn't calm down anymore. Why did he come back? Oh my God. Why did I meet this god of slaughter? I'm so unlucky. Why did he come back? Yes, I heard from my dad that he's going to sign a cooperation agreement for the import and export of weapons. Kong Teichu now controls Sidoni. He's invincible in the world. Even the President of America has to bow his head to him. Even the Emperor of Russia has to swallow his pride. At that moment, Mo Yuza's heart was about to explode. He almost fainted. Most people didn't know about Jiang Tian's background. However, his father was an important member of a big shot. Mo Yuza knew Jiang Tian too well. Just 3 months ago, Jiang Tian had rushed to America and massacred the Rockefeller building. He had killed Song Beishan and Lu Jinghua, the 2 super big shots who were on par with Old Master Mo. After that, Jiang Tian went on a killing spree in America. He went against nuclear weapons, destroyed the universal shield, and killed the superbrain human. Finally, even the Pentagon had to bow their heads to Jiang Tian. No one knew about all this. However, Mo Yuza had known about it for a long time. In short, Mo Yuza couldn't afford to offend Jiang Tian. Even Old Master Mo couldn't afford to offend him. Jiang Tian, now you know who my backer is. How dare you humiliate me? Apologize to me now, and I'll forgive you. As for Yan Di, he crossed his arms and actually started hooting at Jiang Tian without any regard for his own life. Chapter 847. At that moment, Mo Yuza was immersed in deep fear and shock. His mind went blank and he did not recover for a long time. As for Jiang Tian losing his cultivation, Mo Yuza did not believe it at all. Mo Yuza's father did not believe it at all. The big shots in the sea did not believe it either. The military experts had analyzed it. Under the power of a nuclear explosion, if Jiang Tian could not withstand it, only death would await him. There was no such thing as losing one's cultivation but not dying. If Jiang Tian could withstand it, it meant that Jiang Tian had the ability to take it head-on. His cultivation would not be reduced either. Besides, who was he now? He was now Sidoni's emperor. Just this identity alone was enough to intimidate the world. Why would he need cultivation? There were many powerful disciples under his banner. Did he need to personally fight with those martial artists? The old master of the Mo family had once gathered the core members of the family for an important meeting. He spent an entire day introducing Jiang Tian in detail. Mo Yuza, on the other hand, was slapped twice by the old man when he sneaked out for a smoke break. It was obvious how much old master Mo feared and respected Jiang Tian. Therefore, Mo Yuza had deeply imprinted Jiang Tian's appearance in the slideshow. The old master had said that when they met Kong Teichu, all the members of the Mo family had to greet him as a sign of respect. They had to use all means, bargaining chips, and connections to rope this person in. The reason was simple. If Jiang Tian had not destroyed the Lu and Song families, the Mo family would not have had a chance to rise. Since Jiang Tian had the ability to destroy the Lu and Song families under the nose of the Pentagon, then he had the ability to destroy the Mo family, or any of the top political and business families in Wuxia. Yan Di thought that Jiang Tian was so obedient, because he was afraid of Mo Yuza. He sneered again. Jiang Tian, now you know who you have offended, right? Young Master Mo is my husband's cousin. Li Jianwei also swaggered and said, I'm sorry. Jiang Tian, what's wrong with you? How dare you call young Master Mo by his name? Don't you know the rules? In this world, how many people dared to provoke young Master Mo? Be careful, or I'll teach you a lesson. Mo Union held Mo Yuza's hand and said, Yuza, this is the kid who forced Yendi to kneel. He even mocked me during dinner. I suspect that his family is corrupt and accepting bribes. Investigate him for me. Yendi said sarcastically. Jiang Tian, are you regretting it now? How dare you force me to kneel? Now give me. Before she could finish her sentence, she heard a sudden slap. Mo Yuza slapped Yendi in the face, causing blood to spurt out from her nose. Her face was red, and she sat on the ground. Cousin Yu, why did you hit me? Yendi was stunned, but he was more scared than he felt wronged. Mo Yuza didn't need a reason to hit her, so she didn't need to feel wronged. The consequences of Mo Yuza's anger were too terrifying. It was very likely that her future, and even her husband's future, would be ruined. How dare you be disrespectful to Master Kong? Do you want to die? Mo Yuza shouted loudly, scaring everyone. They had never seen Mo Yuza so angry. Then, under everyone's shocked gaze, Mo Yuza actually walked quickly to Jiang Tian, lowered his noble and arrogant head, and said in a low voice, I'm sorry. Grandmaster Jiang, I didn't know that you were Huiyan's friend. I'm sorry for disturbing your mood. I'd like to express my sincerest apologies. Please forgive me this time. This. Everyone was shocked and surprised. They couldn't believe it. How could Master Kong make Mo Yuza bow down? In Wuxia, how many people could make Mo Yuza bow down? In fact, it wasn't an exaggeration to say that Mo Yuza wanted to kneel down to Jiang Tian. The urge to kneel was so strong that if Jiang Tian snorted or glared at him, he wouldn't be able to withstand it, and would have to kneel down. Mo Union was stunned, then shouted in surprise, Yuza, what's wrong with you? We're relatives. Why are you siding with an outsider, and hitting your own people? And this Jiang Tian, what's there to be afraid of? Aren't you afraid that you'll embarrass the Mo family by bowing down to him? What did you say? Mo Yuza was so shocked that he broke out in cold sweat. He didn't expect his distant aunt to be so reckless. I bowed down to Jiang Tian, that's already my attitude, and you also attended the meeting. You're still being so disrespectful to him. Aren't you pushing me and the entire Mo family into the fire pit? He didn't expect Mo Union to be such a shallow person. During the meeting, she wore a Bluetooth headset, and secretly watched the live broadcast of the internet celebrity on her mobile phone. She even tipped him like crazy and missed a lot of information. As for her son and daughter-in-law, they didn't have the opportunity to attend such a high-level meeting. After all, news about Jiang Tian was classified as a 6-star top secret by the government. It couldn't be leaked out easily, and it was even strictly guarded and deleted crazily. It was basically controlled by the high-ranking officials. Otherwise, if the news about these people who had surpassed the immortal state and could challenge the superpowers of the current era spread to the public, it would seriously affect the government's credibility. Slap. In a fit of rage, Mo Yuza slapped Mo Union's face and shouted angrily, Master Kang's status isn't something you can judge. You slapped me? Mo Union was stunned. That's a light punishment. Mo Yuza kicked her face, and her nose collapsed instantly. He shouted hysterically, From now on you have nothing to do with the Mo family. You're expelled from the family. What? Yuza, how can you punish me so severely? Mo Union's face changed drastically, and she almost burst into tears. Being expelled from the family and abandoned by the Mo family was not a simple sentence. This meant that she and her husband would not receive any support from the Mo family, and even her husband's job would be stripped to the end. Haha, Mo Union's family is very rich. Their assets are worth tens of billions. At this time Jiang Tian said lightly. How could there be such a thing? Mo Yuza pretended to be shocked. He thought that Master Kong was going to kill them all. But he had no other choice. He gritted his teeth and shouted sternly. Mo Union, this is obviously related to corruption and bribery. I didn't expect that there would be such a scum in the Mo family. This is despicable and hateful. Then he turned to look at Jiang Tian, and said humbly with a face full of joy. Mr. Jiang, don't worry. The Mo family has always been at odds with corrupt people. I will immediately report this matter to my father and ask the inspection department to investigate. We will definitely punish them severely and give Master Kong and the public an explanation. We're done for. We're completely done for. Mo Yunyan's face was ashen. She could not believe it. She had never expected that her complaint would end up like this. She had shot herself in the foot. Jiang Tian, I know I was wrong. Please say something to young Master Mo, otherwise my husband and father-in-law will go to jail. At this time, Yin Di was no longer arrogant. He was full of fear. He quickly knelt down before Jiang Tian and kowtowed repeatedly. Then, Mo Yunyan and Li Jianwei also knelt down and kowtowed to Jiang Tian to beg for mercy. Their biggest backer was the Mo family. If the Mo family abandoned them and attacked them, they would be doomed eternally. Didn't you ask someone to investigate my father? Didn't you want to force me to kneel and beg for mercy? Jiang Tian slapped Yindi's face and said flatly, Go on, I'm waiting. Yindi was not a kind person. He wanted to force him to kneel and ask the Mo family to investigate his father. If he did not have the identity of Kong Teichu, he would have been suppressed to death by the Mo family. It could be said that Jiang Tian was already merciful by not killing them. Yindi's face was swollen from the slap. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, but he did not dare to resist. Jiang Tian kicked Mo Yunyan in the chest, and she fell to the ground like a dead dog. Jiang Tian said disdainfully, I broke the law. I even hit people. I even dared to kill people. Didn't you want to investigate me? Come on. Slap. Jiang Tian slapped Li Jianwei's face again. A few of his teeth flew out. You said that I don't deserve to be called Mo Yu's name? I can't afford to offend him? Jiang Tian snorted. Mo Yuza quickly interrupted and reprimanded him sternly. Li Jianwei, you snob. You don't know Master Kang's current status. But when facing Jiang Tian, the crown prince of Yanjin and the heir of the Mo family, he was like the most loyal brother and had a smile on his face. He smiled and said, Even my old man said that once he sees Master Kong, he must be treated as a guest of honor and treat him with the highest respect. SSS. When the rich and famous people present heard this, they all sucked in a breath of cold air. What kind of status did he have to be to make the old man of the Mo family treat him so seriously? He had to be the leader of a superpower. Li Jianwei, Yin Di, and Mo Yunyan were in despair. They regretted it so much. How could they afford to offend someone that even their old man had to treat with respect? At this moment, they were like a few vicious dogs. They thought that Jiang Tian was a little white rabbit and wanted to bite and ravage it. However, when they took a closer look, they realized that it was actually a prehistoric Tyrannosaurus rex baring its fangs and brandishing its claws. Chapter 848. Li Jianwei, if you want to teach me a lesson, come on. Jiang Tian smiled faintly. I wouldn't dare, I wouldn't dare. I know I was wrong. Li Jianwei begged for mercy, trembling in fear. Smack. Jiang Tian sneered as he stomped on his knee, directly crushing his knee into pieces. Ow, ow, ow. Li Jianwei screamed miserably, like a dying dog. The others were all terrified, their hairs standing on end. Master Kong was too domineering. He hit Mo Yuza's family in front of him, but Mo Yuza didn't dare to show the slightest bit of anger. He even smiled and applauded. What kind of overwhelming power was this? What kind of domineering power was that? What kind of glorious glory was that? You're lucky. My wife is pregnant, and I don't want to kill anyone. Otherwise, you'd be a corpse. Jiang Tian's eyes were indifferent. He had put up with Yandi's family for a long time. He was in a good mood because of his mother and Qing'er's pregnancy, so he didn't argue with them. He didn't expect them to take advantage of him. If he didn't give them a few slaps, they wouldn't stop. They were dry and clumsy. They were not smooth at all. He had to control them. Get out, all of you. Mo Yuza waved his hand, and the bodyguards immediately came forward and carried the three of them out. Mo Yuza immediately took a glass of red wine from the waiter's silver tray and handed it over to Jiang Tian. He said respectfully, Grandmaster Jiang, I never thought that the heavens would bestow upon you a son. Your wife is pregnant, and the Jiang family has a new son. Master Kong, I must propose a toast to you. He downed the glass in one gulp. To Master Kong. The rich and famous people present didn't dare to be negligent. They all raised their glasses and downed the glass. Well, your attitude is not bad. I won't argue with you. Jiang Tian took a sip and said calmly, but my friend is Huiyan. However, Huiyan is my friend. Don't cause trouble for her in the future. Got it? Of course. Master Kong, don't worry, I'll treat her like a female bodhisattva in the future. Mo Yuza nodded and patted his chest. Although Mo Yuza tried his best to persuade Jiang Tian to stay, Jiang Tian didn't want to entertain him, and left with Li Huiyan. Jiang Tian, how can you suppress him? On the way back, Li Huiyan asked in disbelief. In her opinion, Jiang Tian was very strong, but Mo Yuza was also very strong. Even if Mo Yuza didn't dare to provoke Jiang Tian, he wouldn't be so afraid of him that he would lower his head like a mouse in front of a cat. In a few days I will have a meeting with the big shots. His old man is only qualified to attend. How can he not be afraid? Jiang Tian smiled faintly, not willing to explain further. Today the Coelian Empire was established and Sidoni was the most powerful military force in the world. Even the President of the United States had to bow down to Jiang Tian. How could a mere Red Wall noble disciple enter Jiang Tian's eyes? After Jiang Tian left, the birthday party was dead silent. Mo Yuza pulled a chair and sat down. He wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and breathed heavily. Everyone was shocked. How could Master Kong be so powerful that he could scare Mo Yuza to such an extent? After a while, Mo Yuza finally calmed down. He glanced at the crowd and said coldly, "If anyone dares to breathe a word about what happened today, don't blame me for being ruthless." Yes. Many tycoons and celebrities kept quiet and nodded like chickens pecking at rice. And if any director or investor has a good project, give it to Li Huiyan first. If she doesn't want it, give it to someone else. Understand? Mo Yuza said again. Hearing this, all the popular female celebrities present were stunned. They were envious and shocked. It was obvious how much Mo Yuza feared Master Kong. He was supporting Li Huiyan at all costs. Li Huiyan was too lucky. How did she get to know Mr. Jiang? No wonder her career had been so smooth these years. Young Master Mo, I know about Mr. Jiang. I think he's from Jiangbei. He's half famous, Yang Mi said unwillingly. Why are you and the Mo family so afraid of him? Back then, she was Lu Jinrong's pet. She had seen Jiang Tian beat Yi Gufeng and the others on the Micro Whale Princess. However, even so, Jiang Tian could not be compared to Mo Yuza. After all, Jiang Tian was just a nobody. Slap! Mo Yuza raised his hand and gave her a tight slap on the face, causing Yang Mi to sit on the ground. You bitch, is this something you should ask? Mo Yuza's eyes were as cold as a knife. These people are too stupid. In order to extinguish Grandmaster Jiang's thunderous rage, I even sent my own aunt flying with a slap. Was my attitude not clear enough? I'm sorry, young Master Mo. I know I'm wrong. Yang Mi was so scared that her face turned pale and she trembled. Seeing this, the people present had many questions in their hearts, but no one dared to ask. After Mo Yuza returned to the family, he immediately called his father and a few think tanks to report this to Old Master Mo. After hearing this, Old Master Mo was so scared that he almost jumped up. He almost had a brain hemorrhage. You bitch, how did you offend him? Old Master Mo slammed the table and shouted. Grandpa, I've already apologized. I'm very sincere. Mo Yuza's face was pale and his voice trembled. He did not expect his grandpa to be so angry. Apologize? If apologizing is useful, the Song and Lu families will be destroyed. They will be eliminated by Jiang Tian, even if they escape to the United States. It can be seen just how ruthless this Grandmaster Jiang's personality is. Old Master Mo heaved a long sigh as his withered hands trembled slightly. How could Mo Yunyan be so stupid to show off her dirty money in front of Jiang Tian? Mo Yuza's father's face was also pale. His expression was very serious, as if he was facing a great enemy. His eyes were full of fear. Mo Yunyan wants to kill with a borrowed knife. It's obvious that they want to use young Master Mo's love for Li Huiyan to make young Master Mo and Master Kong go against each other. Their intentions are terrible. One of the think tanks immediately figured out the crux of the matter and said coldly, "Grandpa, Dad, what should we do now? I really didn't know that it was Master Kong at that time." Wuxia panicked. The more he thought about it, the more scared he became. "Cut it off," the think tank said decisively. "Cut off all contact with Union's family immediately and arrest Old Lee." Wuxia's father nodded and said coldly, "That's right. A piece of bad meat spoils the pot of soup. We should have dealt with them long ago. Also, find an opportunity for the old man to apologize to Master Kong personally." Old Master Mo ignored everyone's shocked gaze and shook his head with a bitter smile. "Only then can I sleep peacefully. I don't want to be killed by a sword in my sleep. I don't want to be like Lu Jinghua and Song Beishan, who lost their integrity and went down in history with infamy." "What? The Mo family is so ruthless and decisive. They want to investigate your family in order to extinguish Jiang Tian's anger?" Yin Jianfan was also shocked when he heard the news. He couldn't believe it. Although he guessed that Jiang Tian should be very capable, he didn't expect Jiang Tian to be so powerful that he could suppress Wuxia and the entire Mo family. Wuxia was one of the top princes in Yanjing, but he also bowed down to Jiang Tian. Jiang Tian's wealth was comparable to a country's, and his power was overwhelming. Dad, Uncle Jiang Tian, and Auntie Zhang Wanqing were university classmates. As long as Jiang Tian says something, Master Mo will definitely forgive us. Yan Di was so regretful that he wanted to kill himself with a piece of tofu. "Yeah. Old Yan, open your mouth and say something. Even if it's for Yan Di. After all, we were classmates with Zhang Wanqing and her husband. We have some feelings for each other." At this time, Mo Union was also like a frosted eggplant. She was no longer arrogant and was completely listless. Li Jianwei was not there. He was in the hospital. His knee was comminuted. The doctor said that there was no possibility of recovery. He was still hospitalized. The specialists had to carefully study where to amputate the leg so that it could be preserved for a longer period of time. Moreover, as a suspect, Li Jianwei was already under police surveillance and couldn't leave. At this moment, Mo Union was filled with regret. Jiang Tian was too powerful, and the situation was too serious. It was far beyond her expectations. Her husband was taken away by the Commission for Discipline Inspection that very night. In the past few years, they had made a lot of money by controlling the customs. If they investigated seriously, her husband would not be able to escape 10 years in prison. The entire Li family was like a building that was about to collapse. Everyone was sitting on pins and needles, unable to eat or sleep in peace. After knowing the whole story, everyone in the Li family scolded her and Yin Di for being jinxes. They didn't have the foresight to provoke someone they shouldn't have, and caused the entire Li family to be destroyed. Mo Union, now you know that Jixing and Wanqing were our classmates. Yin Jianfan was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. He slammed the table and shouted, "How could you forget that we were classmates when we were having dinner? You mocked them and threatened to kill them. You even wanted to arrest their son and husband. Why didn't you care about being classmates at that time?" Yin Jianfan, a senior intellectual, had always been well-mannered, but at this moment, he was so angry that he cursed. "How many times have I told you? I tried my best to persuade you, but I couldn't stop you. You're sending people to their deaths at a speed of 200 kilometers per hour. Faster than a fucking bullet train." Chapter 849. At this moment, Su Lulu walked over and said with a dejected expression, "I just called Zhang Wanqing." "What did Zhang Wanqing say?" Everyone looked at her nervously. They didn't even dare to breathe. Su Lulu's face turned bitter and she sighed. She said that her son is useless and only knows how to fight. She doesn't deserve to be our friend. How can she be of help? That was a slap in the face. However, no one was in the mood to be embarrassed. They only felt a wave of desolation and despair, as if they had fallen into an ice cellar, and their bodies were cold. "That's what I thought too." Yin Jianfan sighed and said, "If this happened to you, would you pretend that it didn't happen? We can only blame ourselves. Who would have thought that Jiang Tian was so powerful that he could even suppress Mo Yuza? Yendi said with a sad face. Didn't I tell you? You can't underestimate Jiang Tian. Yan Jianfan was furious and shouted. I told you that you will regret it if you offend Jiang Tian and fight him to the death. The upbringing of our scholarly family has been completely disgraced by you. If you didn't mock Jiang Tian at the airport, if you didn't provoke him again and again, this wouldn't have happened. Zai, is there really no other way? Yendi's face was pale and full of despair. Tears fell from her beautiful eyes like rain. A strong and bitter regret rushed to the top of her head. Suddenly, she thought of Qin Zongheng. Now the Qin family and other martial arts families in Yanjin had broken off their relationship with Kong Teichu. Since Qin Zongheng was so powerful, maybe he could suppress Jiang Tian? So what if Jiang Tian was rich and powerful? After all, he had no cultivation. For a cultivator, cultivation was the foundation. Without cultivation, he would lose everything. Zhou Xiaoxiang, the manager of Yanjin Airport, was beaten to the point of breaking many bones. After being sent to the hospital, he recovered after 2 days of emergency treatment. Zhou Xiaoxiang did not want to stay in the hospital. After all, he was a vassal of the Qin family. He had once held a high position and earned a lot of money. He had a villa and a private family doctor. The next day after the surgery, he returned to his own villa to recuperate because the hospital environment was too bad. Young Master Zongheng, another group of people came and beat me up badly. Under the care of Xiaomi, Zhou Xiaoxiang lay on the bed with a cast and bandages like a mummy and reported to Qin Zongheng. After reporting the situation, Zhou Xiaoxiang was a little uncertain. Young Master Zongheng, since Yuan Lei, Wei Feilong, and Zhan Long are still supporting him, does that mean Kong Teichu's cultivation is still there? Qin Zongheng shook his head and said calmly, he cured Yuan Lei's strange disease. Zhan Long was also indebted to him. Wei Feilong is his last disciple. Their support of Jiang Tian doesn't mean anything. He didn't do anything from the beginning to the end. It seems that Jiang Tian's cultivation is still lower. It might not even exist. Otherwise, he would have killed you directly when you offended him like that. Don't be afraid. Our trump cards are no longer limited to Celestial Leaf alone. There will be even greater trump cards appearing. It's something you can't even imagine. Zhou Xiaoxiang was delighted. Could it be that we have a stronger backer than Yi Tianren? What is it? Don't ask what you shouldn't ask. Qin Zongheng's tone was cold. Don't worry, I won't treat you badly. I won't let you get beaten up for nothing. Then he hung up the phone. That's great. It's worth it to get beaten up. Anyway, it can be cured. Zhou Xiaoxiang was overjoyed when he heard that. It seemed that he would get more benefits. At this time, the charming and coquettish Xiaomi brought a bowl of ginseng soup and said, Honey, have some soup. Zhou Xiaoxiang said angrily, What's so good about ginseng soup? I want to eat dog meat. Dog meat hot pot. Ah, dog meat? Xiaomi was stunned. She couldn't believe it. Zhou Xiaoxiang was quite pretentious. He always thought that dog meat was not good enough for dinner and never ate it. I just want to eat dog meat. Zhou Xiaoxiang clenched his teeth in anger. If it wasn't for that big black dog, I wouldn't have suffered such a big loss. I have to eat dog meat to be happy. Then I'll call the restaurant. Xiaomi complained in her heart. Zhou Xiaoxiang, this old dog, was getting harder and harder to please. Right at this moment, Pa, a big black dog ran into the bedroom. Where did this dog come from? The villa's gate is closed. Xiaomi was shocked. Zhou Xiaoxiang was overjoyed. He quietly took out a gun from under his pillow. Isn't this Jiang Tian's big black dog? Fuck, I really want to eat you. You actually came to me. You want to eat me? You're quite resentful. The old dragon laughed and bared its teeth. Oh my god, this dog can talk. It can even laugh. Xiaomi was so scared that her face turned pale. She sat on the ground. What the hell? What the hell is this? Zhou Xiaoxiang was so scared that his face turned ashen. He peed on the spot and dropped his gun. It was too scary. It was too strange. Could it be that this dog had already become a spirit? What the hell? I, baby dragon, want to eat you. The big black dog laughed sinisterly and transformed into its original appearance. The huge body of the true dragon burst the room, and the whole villa shook violently. As Zhou Xiaoxiang screamed in despair and fear, the old dragon opened its mouth and swallowed Zhou Xiaoxiang. After chewing for a while, it swallowed him. As for Xiaomi, after a hysterical scream, she was so scared that she fainted. It doesn't taste good. It's too fatty. Sick of it. Next time, it should be accompanied by a spicy hot pot. After the old dragon finished eating, it spat a few mouthfuls and complained that the taste was not good. It turned into the big black dog again and swaggered out of the villa. For Jiang Tian, people like Yendi and Moyuza were just small episodes in his long life. He did not care at all. However, on this day Zhang Huchen found Jiang Tian. He said a little gloomily, "Brother Tian, I know you're with sister-in-law, but there's something I have to tell you." "Say it." "Do you still remember Yuhua Villa?" Zhang Huchen said. "After you left Wuxia, you handed it over to Zhang Yilin. Zhang Yilin's plan is to transform it into a holiday villa and return it to the people. After all, this tourist area originally belonged to the people. Yilin is right to do this." Jiang Tian nodded approvingly. "But now this villa is under Chen Zifen's control, and he has not returned it," Zhang Huchen said. "Chen Zifen has the guts to do this?" Jiang Tian's face flashed with anger. Chen Zifen was the one responsible for the expropriation of the Bai family's assets. "These assets have always been under Chen Zifen's name," Zhang Huchen said. "You're a busy man. No one wants to bother you over a mere 10 billion yuan. Plus, you're a powerful man. No one would have thought that Chen Zifen would do something to your assets. So the ownership certificate and contract have never been changed. Now, at least legally, Chen Zifen has no problems at all. He has nothing to fear." Zhang Huchen spread his hands. Jiang Tian sneered and said, "This brat has some guts, huh? I knew he was a vicious dog, but I didn't expect him to be a vicious dog." Unlike Hu Qingtian, Zhao Yuankuan and Wei Feilong, the 6 major families of Yanjin were not directly related to Chen Zifen. Jiang Tian knew that these people were not as reliable as he thought, but he didn't expect them to act so quickly. Just because of some rumors, just because of the existence of the threat of Celestial Yi, they leaned to the other side. The reason why Jiang Tian had not revealed his cultivation and started a massacre was because he wanted to lure the snake out of its hole in order to capture it better. He needed to make Chen Zifen and Qin Zongheng, who were not so loyal, jump out and then clear them out of the team. "Master, let's get rid of them. I'd like to see how big their guts are. How many heads are there for us to chop off?" At this moment, angry shouts could be heard, and several imposing figures walked in. They were Tang Lingling, Hu Qingtian, Wei Feilong, Zhao Yuankuan and a few other disciples of Jiang Tian. Even the ancestral master of the Hong sect, Situ Xiao, was there. "Master, even if your power is weakened, you are not someone they can bully." Tang Linglong's eyes glistened with tears. She was so angry that her eyes turned red. "Why are you so worked up? My wife is pregnant. I will not forgive you for scaring my baby," Jiang Tian said with a smile. "What? The matriarch is pregnant? Congratulations. It was worthy of celebration. The Tianqing school is going to have a young sect leader." Everyone was overjoyed. Zhao Xueqing also rubbed her belly with a blissful smile. "I am not hurt. Did you think I was going to die? That's why you are here to help me?" Jiang Tian didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Just because Charlene had posted a picture of him vomiting blood, they had deduced that he had lost all his power? How naive. At Jiang Tian's level, even if his body was destroyed, he could still rebuild it with the help of his primordial spirit. This kind of divine power was beyond the imagination of a mortal like Chen Zifen. "Really? That's great." Tang Linglong and the other disciples were overjoyed. "From what I can see, not only did Master's power not decrease, but it also increased. Especially his soul energy." Situ Xiao could see a thing or two about Chen Zifen. After all, his power had surpassed the earth-level deity level, and was on his way to becoming a sky immortal. Then what are we waiting for? Let's destroy the 6 families of Yanjin. Hu Qingtian shouted murderously. Chapter 850. There were factions in every organization. It was the same in Tianqing School. Hua Qingtian used to belong to the Heavenly Alliance and was at odds with the 6 major families of Yanjin. Jiang Tian, I don't want you to kill anyone. Zhao Xueqing caressed her slightly bulging belly with a compassionate expression. She said softly, we're going to have a child soon. Okay, don't worry. I won't kill anyone. Jiang Tian hurriedly promised with a gentle face. Jiang Tian had a lot of overlords under his command, including immortal state warriors and mortal deities. He even had one earth-level deity. He didn't need to do anything to kill them. He could even ask the Blackie to do it. In Yuhua Villa, the maple leaves were as red as fire and the snow was white. The villa had been transformed into a high-end clubhouse where the rich and famous of Yanjin gathered. The huge villa had a racecourse, a golf course, a winery, a helicopter club, and so on. The clubhouse had a membership system, and those who could get a membership had to have at least 1 billion yuan in assets. Even so, there were still many rich people who were willing to join the clubhouse. Chen Zifan was one of the 6 major families of Yanjin, and had a great influence in both the martial arts world and the secular world. Those who knew him would be able to get a lot of resources and benefits. Meanwhile, in Shuangqing's villa, Chen Zifan was wearing a mink coat and a Rolex green water ghost watch. He was sunbathing on a deck chair. He didn't look like a martial arts overlord, but a rich man in the secular world. Zhang Yilin was sitting next to him in a yellow camel coat. She looked elegant and dignified. After all, her Yanjin software group was one of the top high-tech companies in the world. After a few years of training, she was no longer the naive girl she used to be. Instead, she was a powerful woman. However, Zhang Yilin was furious. Chen Zifan, aren't you afraid that my cousin will punish you for taking over Yuhua Villa? You scared me to death. Chen Zifan pretended to be scared, but his eyes were full of disdain and mockery. Jiang Tian is already crippled. Don't you know that? Kong Teichu, he doesn't even dare to return to his country. I'm just occupying it. What can you do to me? Now all the 6 great martial arts aristocratic families have turned to the Yi clan. Even the semi-hidden sects like Diansong and a Mei sect want to take revenge on Jiang Tian. If Jiang Tian dares to come back now, he will definitely be killed by Yi Tianren. He stood Yi Tianren up a few times. I'm afraid Yi Tianren is going to go crazy from anger. Jiang Tian's influence in the country is finished. Now, everyone was waiting for an opportunity to snatch Jiang Tian's assets in the country. I'm afraid your Zhang clan won't have many good days ahead. Chen Zifan was originally hesitating whether he should betray Jiang Tian and switch sides with Yi Tianren. After all, he also knew Jiang Tian's strength and personality. He was definitely not someone who could be easily offended. But when he heard that Yi Tianren had broken through to the half-step celestial immortal level, he no longer hesitated. What kind of concept was a half-step celestial immortal? It was beyond this world and close to the gods. No matter how strong Jiang Tian was, he had never shown the strength of a half-step celestial immortal before. Moreover, just a few days ago, he relied on the elixirs and cultivation methods given by Jiang Tian to forcibly push his cultivation to the half-step celestial immortal realm. The key point was that Jiang Tian's strength was now greatly reduced, and he was already like a cripple. Because of this, Chen Zifan was even more determined. Now he was not afraid of Kong Teichu at all. He even felt that Jiang Tian did not dare to return to Wuxia. Naturally, he had no scruples. He glanced at Zhang Yilin with a pair of malicious eyes and said indifferently, Zhang Yilin, if you want to take this club, that's fine. I don't lack money, but I want. You want to sleep with me? Zhang Yilin sneered sarcastically. What a fool. You're really daring. She stood up and let out a bell-like laugh. Her voice was full of anger. Why don't you think about how servile you were in front of my cousin? In my eyes, you are even worse than a dog. Chen Zifan was furious. He stood up and shouted, Zhang Yilin, don't think that you can disrespect me just because you are a member of the Zhang family. He was full of murderous intent, and his eyes were as sharp as knives. He sneered. The Chen family is a martial arts family. We are detached from worldly affairs. Even the government dares not interfere. I can kill you as easily as killing a chicken. Even Zhang Zhonggua dares not bare his teeth at me. Do you think I'm an idiot? If I didn't have 100% confidence, if I didn't have a solid backing, I wouldn't dare to challenge Jiang Tian. How dare I take such a big risk? He said proudly. I'll be frank with you. I have a real Earth immortal overseeing this place. Furthermore, he's not from our world. He is from the hidden sect of the dimensional space. Who can defeat him? He looked behind him arrogantly at the man who was fishing on the small wooden boat in the pond. The man was wearing a Taoist robe. He looked to be in his 80s. His white hair was as white as snow and he looked like an immortal. If that Kong Taichu doesn't come, I'll be fine. If he does, this old man will kill him with one slap. The old man was full of arrogance. He reached out his hand and made a grabbing motion in the pond. Kaboom! Suddenly, a giant dragon formed by the pond water rose into the air. It was dozens of meters long. The water dragon was majestic and lifelike. Its eyes were blinking as if it was about to come to life. Then the black tortoise, the vermilion bird, the white tiger and other strange beasts appeared one by one. Immortal Master Yuan's skills have reached the acme of perfection, and his cultivation is heaven-defying. I am truly impressed. Seeing this, Chen Zifen's face was filled with fanaticism. He bowed and cupped his fists as if he was looking at a god. It's just a small trick. It's not worth mentioning. Celestial Master Yuan smiled proudly. With a wave of his hand, many strange phenomena fell into the deep pond and set off huge waves. He came from the real hidden sect, the Celestial Palace. His ancestor was Yuan Tiangang, the great prodigy of cultivation in the Tang dynasty. Yuan Tiangong's background was too great. It was said that he had the bloodline of the Fairy of the Nine Heavens, and was a descendant of a true immortal. He had outstanding achievements in metaphysics. Even Emperor Taizong of the Tang dynasty invited him to be the chief think tank. He had also compiled the ancient book, Pushback Diagram. This book was very magical. It could predict the future for thousands of years, including the history of the Song, Yuan, Ming and Qing dynasties. However, after Yuan Tiangang was punished by the heavens and died, the Yuan family lived in seclusion in a small secret realm. They hid from the world and waited for the world to change. They also secretly searched for cultivation geniuses around the world. After more than 1,000 years of development, this hidden sect called Celestial Palace had hundreds of disciples. Among the hidden sects in Wuxia, its strength could be ranked in the top 20. He was also a wonderful person. When he was 60 years old, he stepped into the half-step human immortal realm. Now he was a real earth immortal. Even Kong Taichu and Yi Tianren were not in his eyes. It was said that Kong Taichu was very powerful. It was very likely that he would reach the peak of the earth immortal realm, or even the half-step celestial immortal realm. But Celestial Master Yuan did not believe it at all. The Celestial Palace was a secret realm that was born on the ancient earth. Moreover, there was a seed of the chaotic sacred tree. The spiritual qi was dense and the spiritual liquid was everywhere. It was not comparable to the earth at all. But he had such a good environment, and the cultivation method passed down by Yuan Tiangang. But he still stopped at the earth immortal realm. It was difficult for him to make any progress, let alone Kong Taichu. He was cultivating on the wasteland of the earth, which had been drained of spiritual qi. He did not have the orthodox cultivation method, nor did he have the strange seed. How could he reach the peak of the earth immortal realm at such a young age? This was complete nonsense. Zhang Yilin was shocked when she saw the water dragon baring its fangs and brandishing its claws. She took a few steps back subconsciously. Haha, Zhang Yilin, are you afraid now? Seeing this, Chen Zifen glanced at Zhang Yilin triumphantly. Then he bowed deeply to Immortal Master Yuan and said, Immortal Master Yuan, but Kong Taichu's cultivation method is still not bad. If you see him, don't kill him first. Force the cultivation method out of him. I am willing to learn it. This was Chen Zifen's ultimate goal. Seizing the Yuhua mountain villa was just to force Jiang Tian to come out. At his level, his vision was getting wider and wider. He did not care about money anymore. He wanted to become a person like Kong Taichu and Yi Tianren. He wanted to cultivate the supreme cultivation method, control a country and a sect, and be respected as the ancestral lord. He wanted to reach the peak of this blue planet. Those cultivation methods of his are nothing more than unorthodox methods. Your taste is too bad. Immortal Master Yuan was disdainful. He was arrogant and mocked. I want to cultivate the cultivation method of the Heavenly Star Palace, but you don't want to accept me as your disciple. Chen Zifen's face was full of flattery as he said humbly, "It's just a small matter. It's not worth mentioning." Immortal Master Yuan waved his hand impatiently and said, "If you want it, I'll capture him and force it out of him for you. I'm just afraid that he won't come out. Capture me and force me to tell you the cultivation method? You've got guts." At this moment, a mocking voice sounded. Seeing Jiang Tian coming over with people, Chen Zifen's face suddenly changed. He shouted in surprise, "It's Kong Teichu. Brother, you're back. I've been bullied by them." Zhang Yilin suddenly turned around and threw herself into Jiang Tian's arms. Tears flowed down her face uncontrollably. At this moment, she felt extremely wronged, as if she had found someone to rely on. She was like a bullied child who finally saw her parents. "Jiang Tian, I didn't expect you to dare to come back." After a brief moment of panic, Chen Zifen immediately calmed down. He tilted his head and looked at Jiang Tian. "Aren't you afraid that Yi Tianren will kill you? Aren't you afraid that Immortal Master Yuan will kill you? Besides, aren't you afraid of me? I'm already half a step away from the immortal state. How dare you talk to Master Kong like that?" Hua Qingtian shouted angrily. "Do I need to be afraid of him? Do I need to be afraid of him? He has already lost all his cultivation." Chen Zifen looked at Jiang Tian mockingly. "Have you forgotten who made a piece of trash like you half a step away from the immortal state?" Hua Qingtian shouted angrily and directly attacked. Smack! He threw out a punch with vigorous true qi. It was like a tsunami that pressed down on Chen Zifen. Hua Qingtian was already half a step away from the human immortal state. Chen Zifen could not withstand it. He was sent flying more than 10 meters away and fell to the ground like a dead dog, vomiting blood. "How dare you?" Seeing this, Master Immortal Yuan's face was filled with anger. He quickly walked over and helped Chen Zifen to stand up. "Kong Teichu, you're just an abandoned person from the wasteland world. Who do you think you are? How dare you act so rashly in front of Immortal Master Yuan of the Starry Sky Palace?" Chapter 851. Celestial Master, hurry up and capture Jiang Taichu. Torture him and force him to reveal his cultivation technique. Chen Zifen yelled as he spat out blood. "Haha, Chen Zifen, you dare to talk to Master Kong like that?" Wei Feilong's face was full of sarcasm, but his heart was filled with anger. Back then, Jiang Tian could have wiped out the Chen family and all the martial arts families in Yanjin. However, Jiang Tian had given him a way out, and taught him a cultivation technique for the sake of the big picture. Who would have thought that Chen Zifen would plot against and provoke Jiang Tian? Chen Zifen wiped the blood from his lips and said with a sinister smile, "Don't you understand? Today is different from the past. The situation has changed. Kong Teichu is done for. You're the one I don't understand." Wei Feilong sneered. "How dare you be so disrespectful in front of Master Kong? You and I can be considered acquaintances. Back when you were with Grandmaster Jiang, you more or less made some contributions. If you kneel down and kowtow in submission, and sincerely repent, then I'll give you a chance to plead for mercy in front of Grandmaster Jiang." "Haha, Wei Feilong, no wonder you can only be someone's lackey for the rest of your life," Chen Zifen said. "Do you think I'm unprepared for this? Don't you know who this is?" He pointed at Immortal Master Yuan and sneered. "This is Immortal Master Yuan from the Tianqing Palace of the Yin sect. He came from the secret realm. Listen up. He came from the secret realm of the Tianqing Palace. That's like a celestial being in the heavens. Compared to the strongest person in our world, Yi Tianren, he's not much inferior." Chen Zifen grinned. "Give me a chance? Now let's see if I'm willing to give you a chance." His nostrils flared as he looked at Wei Feilong with disdain, then glanced at Jiang Tian. He was just talking about Jiang Tian a moment ago. He didn't expect Jiang Tian to come immediately. However, in his opinion, Jiang Tian's arrival was tantamount to sending himself to death. With Immortal Master Yuan here, even if Jiang Tian took Wei Feilong, Zhao Yuanquan and Huaqing Tian with him, they would not be able to escape. The funny thing was that Wei Feilong was still showing off. He was simply courting death. You came from the secret realm? Jiang Tian scanned with his divine sense, and found that the aura in Immortal Master Yuan was much purer than the aura of ordinary martial artists and sorcerers. That's right. I'm from the Orthodox Immortal Sect. Are you afraid now? Immortal Master Yuan smiled proudly and said proudly, hurry and kneel down and beg for mercy. Kneel down and kowtow. Tell me the cultivation method and I'll spare your life. You Kong Teichu are just an unorthodox cultivator. How dare you call yourself a Dao ancestor in Wuxia? How dare you stir up a storm of blood and make a fool of yourself? Even the mighty figures of the Yin sect don't dare to come out and do whatever they want. You're just a junior. How dare you stir up a storm in Wuxia and disturb the secular world? He flicked his sleeves and said disdainfully, the Yin sect and the Heavenly Star Palace have appeared. What are you? You're just an ant in the wasteland. I can kill you with a flick of my finger. Insect? What kind of trash is that? Jiang Tian snorted coldly and said leisurely, dry and dull. It's so dry and clumsy. It's not smooth at all. Situ, help me control it. Yes, master. Situ Zhao's eyes turned cold. He soared into the air like a dragon and kicked down from the sky. What? Earth-level deity. Kong Teichu has an earth-level deity disciple. Immortal Master Yuan's face changed drastically. He suddenly thought of someone and exclaimed, you're Situ Xiao, the ancestral master of the Hong sect. However, it was too late. Even though he had thrown out all kinds of talismans and dharma treasures, it was still useless. Situ Zhao's foot pierced through the clouds and tore through the sky. He was like an antelope hanging its horn without a trace as he crushed many of Immortal Master Yuan's defensive barriers. He broke through a myriad of techniques and various phenomena. In the end, he stepped on Immortal Master Yuan like a toad. Immortal Master Yuan's face contorted in pain. He opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of blood with pieces of his internal organs. How could this be? Chen Zifan didn't feel good at all. It was as if he had been immobilized by an immortal. He couldn't move at all. In his mind, Master Immortal Yuan was like an immortal. However, Jiang Tian's disciple had stomped him to the ground like a dead dog. He couldn't move at all. Situ Xiao, you don't practice the orthodox arts of the Gate of Heaven. How did you become so powerful? Immortal Master Yuan couldn't believe it. He shouted at Chen Zifan. You are all ants on the wasteland. How could you compete with the orthodox arts of the Yin sect? He didn't know that Situ Xiao had already practiced the sword art of the Immortal of Nine Swords, and had been taught by Jiang Tian himself. Therefore, Situ Zhao's cultivation arts were much more powerful than his. You don't deserve to talk about the orthodox arts in front of me. Jiang Tian sneered. The so-called secret land of the Yin sect was just a dimensional space formed when the ruins of immortality were separated from Earth. It was still considered a cultivation tradition on Earth. How could it compare to the sects in the immortal world that Jiang Tian had seen? As for Jiang Tian, he had once surpassed the celestial realm and entered the divine realm. He had the means of a divine realm almighty at his fingertips. How could they compare to him? He kicked Immortal Yuan so hard that 3 of his ribs were broken, causing Immortal Yuan to scream miserably and vomit blood. He then laughed and said, "Don't worry. Chen Zifan, is this what you're relying on? You can't even withstand a single blow." "Master Kong, I know I was wrong." Chen Zifan knelt on the ground with a thud. He was so scared that his soul was about to leave his body. He begged for mercy desperately. Chen Zifan was filled with regret. His intestines were knotted in knots and he was heartbroken. He had thought that he could provoke Jiang Tian with the support of the Yin sect's experts. However, he had underestimated Jiang Tian's strength. Even if Jiang Tian's cultivation had decreased, there were still so many people loyal to him. There were even Earth Immortals who could not be shaken. "Master Kong, don't kill me. The Starry Sky Palace is a Yin sect. There is a spiritual qi seed in it, which is related to the secret of the recovery of spiritual qi on Earth. Immortal Master Yuan kowtowed and begged. Ordinary people can't find the entrance to the Starry Sky Palace, but I can take you in. Do you think I won't know if you don't tell me? Jiang Tian sneered. With a swoosh, a black soul devourer shot into Immortal Master Yuan's brain like an arrow and began to search frantically. Ah. It hurts. I won't tell you. I won't tell you. Immortal Master Yuan's head exploded, and his brain and blood sprayed all over the ground. In order to keep the secret, he directly self-destructed. However, at this moment, Jiang Tian's soul devourer's divine sense still seized all the information in his mind. Jiang Tian had obtained all the secrets about the Starry Sky Palace, the insect, and even the secret of the depletion of spiritual qi on Earth. So that's how it is. A trace of understanding appeared on Jiang Tian's face. He pulled out a long and narrow jade talisman from Immortal Master Yuan's waist and put it into his storage ring. Jiang Tian learned from Immortal Master Yuan. In the ancient times, in order to escape the attack of foreign civilizations, a supreme grand cultivator extracted a lot of spirit qi from the earth and formed many secret realms, including the ruins of immortals, and put them into the dimensional space with a super array. Earth had become a dead planet without any spiritual qi, and became a shelter for the dimensional secret realms like the ruins of immortality. When the foreign super civilizations flew over Earth, they would find that the spiritual qi here was exhausted, and there was no possibility of cultivation. Earth would not pose a threat to their civilization, so they naturally would not do anything to Earth or the ruins of immortality. In every dimensional space, including the ruins of immortality, most of them would have one or more spiritual qi seeds. Spiritual qi seeds were the essence of the spiritual qi of ancient Earth. They contained abundant and vast spiritual qi, and were of great benefit to cultivation. Moreover, if these spiritual qi seeds were put into Earth, it would trigger the recovery of Earth's spiritual qi and transform Earth into a cultivation planet. Moreover, in order to prevent the rise of the abandoned people of Earth, the powerful cultivators at that time also set up a super array on Earth. Immortal Trap Array. This monstrous array was like a heaven and earth cage, completely enveloping Earth. Like a giant net covering the sky, it firmly controlled the cultivation of the abandoned people of Earth at the level of Sky Immortal Holy Master, which was the third level of foundation establishment in the cultivation world. They could not advance any further. Once the cultivators of the Middle Ages forcibly broke through to the level of Sky Immortal, they would trigger the Immortal Trap Array and be discovered by the experts of the ruins of immortality and other hidden sections. If they were willing to submit, they might be taken into the ruins of immortality and other dimensional spaces and become their members. If they were unwilling to submit, they would be directly killed by the super energy such as thunder, lightning, and wind that they controlled. In short, the ruins of immortality and many hidden sects established an alliance. On Earth, there must not be any experts above the third level of foundation establishment. Otherwise, they would either submit or be killed directly. It was known as the Ancient Covenant. Chapter 852. Immortal Master Yuan, or rather, the Starry Sky Palace, knew little about the ancient Earth, the formation of the ruins of immortality, and the research of the Qi refinement warriors of the pre-Qin dynasty. There were many unsolved mysteries. Because there had been several wars between the hidden sects, many inheritances and histories were cut off in the chaos of war. After all, the spiritual energy in these dimensional secret realms was as vast as the sea. It was a holy land for cultivation. Those who knew this secret all wanted to occupy it. Just like the secret realm of the Tianqing Palace. Before the Tang dynasty, it also belonged to another cultivation sect, but it was occupied by Yuan Tiangang and his descendants. People don't distinguish between black and white. The earth doesn't distinguish between north and south. No city, no mansion, no man, no self. The world is one, and all religions are one. These words were Yuan Tiangong's last words, and they were also written in the pushback diagram. Especially, people don't distinguish between black and white. It was very interesting. It could be seen that Yuan Tiangang had probably traveled the earth with powerful techniques, and had seen white and black people. It was almost 1,000 years earlier than Columbus's 1492 trip around the world, and discovery of the New World. No man, no self. Jiang Tian's eyes were full of interest. Jiang Tian believed that it was very likely that Yuan Tiangang had met, and even communicated with the superbrain race. After all, only the superbrain person's spiritual power could communicate and connect directly. There were no restrictions and no distinctions between them. And Yuan Tiangang believed that the human race on Earth would be ruled by the superbrain race 1,000 years later. Otherwise, Yuan Tiangang wouldn't have made such an inference. Moreover, the Mayans' prophecy was very similar and overlapped with Yuan Tiangang's pushback diagram. However, Jiang Tian didn't bother to pursue these details. As long as he could find the Tianqing Palace and get the spiritual energy seed, it would be fine. Chen Zifan, is this what you rely on? Is this what you have to resist me? After coming back to his senses, Jiang Tian looked down at Chen Zifan, who was like an old dog wagging its tail and begging for mercy at his feet, and sneered. Master Kong, I just want to join the Tianqing school, become your direct disciple, and learn your techniques, but I don't have a chance. So I can't wait. Tears streamed down Chen Zifan's face as he shivered. He begged for mercy like a dog. At this moment, he really regretted it. He was ruthless, cunning, and decisive. He had been smart all his life, but he never thought that he would be the victim of his own cleverness in the end. He knew that there would be a bloodbath in the country. Those families that betrayed Jiang Tian would be cruelly massacred. This time, it was unknown how many aristocratic families had been destroyed like the Chen family because they had chosen the wrong side. I'm not interested in listening to your inner monologue. Since you betrayed me, only death awaits you. Jiang Tian shook his head with an indifferent expression and said coldly, If you want it, ask me. If I'm in a good mood, I'll give it to you. If I don't give it to you, you can't take it. No one can take what belongs to me. Kong Te Chu. Master Kong, give me a chance. Chen Zifan's eyes were filled with despair. Before he could finish his sentence, Situ Xiao had already made his move. Bang! Chen Zifan's head was crushed by the large black dog's foot. Glistening flesh rained down like rain. This Chen Zifan is not bad. His flesh isn't that tough. Soon after, the large black dog transformed into the true form of the old dragon. Holding a few spicy strips in his claws, he opened his bloody mouth, and with a series of crunching sounds, swallowed the two corpses into his stomach. Jiang Tian. At this moment, a cry of surprise was heard. Chen Longsheng stood at the door with his mouth agape as he witnessed this terrifying scene. His face was bruised and his leg was fractured. He was wearing a cast. He was almost beaten to death by Chen Zifan a few days ago because he tried to persuade Chen Zifan not to provoke Jiang Tian. Chen Zifan even threatened to kill him if he dared to talk nonsense again. However, Chen Longsheng did not want Chen Zifan to be led astray. He came to persuade him again, but he did not expect to see this scene. Sigh, I'm still too late. Zifan could not restrain his greed and ruin Qingqing's life. It's a pity that there's no medicine for regret in this world. Chen Longsheng lamented in his mind as he shook his head with a wry smile. Chen Zifan used to be Jiang Tian's henchman in Yanjin. Everyone was afraid of him, and he used to be a powerful figure. But now, because of a single mistake, he had fallen into a state of eternal damnation, and had fallen to such a state. Longsheng, from now on, you are in charge of the Chen family. Jiang Tian walked slowly toward the door and said lightly, Wei Feilong, send a few transcendent grandmasters to guard the place. Kill anyone who dares to resist. Yes. Master Kong. I will be loyal to you and get rid of Chen Zifan's henchmen. Chen Longsheng took a deep breath and bowed respectfully with cupped fists. Wei Feilong also nodded respectfully. Master, where are we going next? Situ Xiao asked. Qin Zongheng, the Qin family. Jiang Tian cracked a smile and said, The cultivation of Qin Zhong and his son is too low. I can kill them all by myself. Hu Qingtian grinned. No, the Qin family also has an overlord from the Sky Star Palace. That's the real deal. Jiang Tian flicked his sleeves as a glint of viciousness flashed in his eyes. The Qin family was decorated with lanterns and colorful lanterns as they entertained a few distinguished guests. Dressed in a red robe, Qin Zhong looked like an old landlord in ancient times. His face was glowing with joy. My son Qin Zongheng. was able to join an immortal sect. Moreover, he is the young palace master of the Starry Sky Palace, the Taoist of Qing Xian. This is truly the fortune of our Qing clan. Qin Zhong kowtowed to a young man sitting on an armchair. His face was full of flattery, and his voice was low and humble. Next to him, Qin Zongheng also looked crazy and kept kowtowing. If there were any experts of the current era here, they would probably be so shocked that they would fall over. This was the family lord of the Qin family. Yet, he was so respectful to this young man who looked to be in his 20s. It was as if a believer had seen a god. Behind him stood a woman in a red palace dress who was about 20 years old. She was probably a maidservant. Surprisingly, she was also at the Earth Immortal realm. The other maidservant was Yan Di. The sect master of the Qing Xian sect wanted to travel the world and experience the mortal world. He needed a few mortals who were familiar with the earth to lead the way. Yan Di went to the Qin family for protection 2 days ago. She was pretty and had lived in a wealthy family before. So, she was taken in as a maid by the sect master of the Qing Xian sect. At this time, Yan Di was very excited. The sect master of the Qing Xian sect came from another world and was almost like an alien. How could Jiang Tian compare? After thousands of years of recuperation, the wasteland of the earth has formed the conditions for the recovery of spiritual qi. The sect master of the Qing Xian sect was wearing a plain robe. He had sharp eyebrows and bright eyes, and his aura was otherworldly. He took a sip of tea and said calmly, "The rise of Kong Teichu and Yi Tianren is a half-step to heaven immortal. That is an important signal. The Sky Palace plans to find an area on the earth to form our Taoist field. Qin Zhong, where do you think is suitable?" This, Qin Zhong said hesitantly. "Sect master of the Qing Xian sect, you come from another world after all. If you build a Taoist field on the earth with great fanfare, won't the government be shocked and even suppressed?" "The government?" The sect master of the Qing Xian sect sneered disdainfully. "Today's human beings are just ants abandoned in the wasteland. The ones who rule the ants are just the bigger ants and the queen ants. Do you think they can resist the immortals? I'm already a level 3 foundation establishment cultivator, which is the heaven immortal you call cultivation. And there are hundreds of people in the Sky Palace who have reached the heaven immortal level. Hundreds of earth immortals and heaven immortals have arrived in this wasteland. Who do you think can fight against them?" Qin Zhong's tall body suddenly trembled, and his face turned pale, revealing a deep fear. What he said was true. Kong Teichu was said to be an earth immortal, or half a step away from heaven immortal. But he could suppress the superpowers of the world and control a sect and a country. If a few hundred experts like Jiang Tian were to appear and slaughter their way through, wouldn't the earth be turned upside down? Who on earth can stop me? Qing Xian gently put the teacup on the table, exuding a monstrous domineering aura. Whether it's Kong Teichu, Yi Tianren, the Holy Sea or the Brahmin, I can destroy them with a single bullet. Master, you are really domineering. You have the heart and temperament to devour the world. Qin Zongheng trembled with excitement. Before, he felt that Jiang Tian was like a god in the sky, whom he worshipped fanatically. But now, compared with Qing Xian, Qin Zongheng felt that Jiang Tian was like a 3-year-old child who could not withstand a single blow. He had been following Jiang Tian for a while, but his cultivation had not improved much. Every time he begged Jiang Tian to improve his cultivation, Jiang Tian told him not to rush and to take it slow. So he only broke through once in 2 or 3 years. And the Taoist of Qing Xian pushed him directly to the immortal state with elixirs within 2 hours when they met for the first time. Now he felt that he had followed the wrong person. Jiang Tian did not pay attention to him at all, or he was not capable at all. Taoist of Qing Xian, please accept our bow. Qin Zhong and his son showed deep admiration. Their eyes were bursting with fanaticism and they said with ecstasy, "Congratulations, Taoist of Qing Xian, to unify the world and take control of the world. Again, I'm here to find a hidden spirit vein and use the spirit qi seed to revive it. It will be the Taoist field of the Tianqing Palace on earth. You help me mediate with the officials of Wuxia." Qing Xian was full of arrogance, like a noble facing his subjects. He ordered casually, "I'll tell you clearly that the Tianqing Palace has no interest in secular power. We are immortals. Qin Zhong was about to agree. Qin Zongheng smiled flatteringly and said, Master, I have an idea. I don't know if it's appropriate to say it. Say it. Qin Zongheng's eyes flashed with a trace of viciousness and said with a smile, the Tianqing school established by Kong Taichu has already controlled Sidoni. As long as you kill Kong Taichu, it is equivalent to controlling Sidoni, and there will be no friction with the secular government. Isn't it perfect once and for all? Chapter 853. Well, Kong Taichu's Tianqing school. Xianqing pondered for a moment. He had traveled to the wasteland for more than half a year, and had heard of Jiang Tian's deeds. It could even be said that it was Jiang Tian's rise that made him think that the conditions for the recovery of spirit qi on earth had been met. That was why he showed his power and contacted Qin Zongheng, intending to use him as a servant to build a sect on earth. Yes, Qin Zongheng said respectfully. And this man's cultivation has been greatly reduced. He is no different from a disabled person. Master should kill him while he is still weak. Good. Qing Xian was overjoyed. As soon as he finished speaking, suddenly a joking voice sounded. Qin Zongheng, I didn't expect you to become a guide so soon. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Several figures flashed one after another. It was Jiang Tian and several disciples. Qing Xian was slightly stunned. His pupils constricted as he stared at Jiang Tian. He frowned slightly and said with a serious face, You are Kong Taichu? What shocked him the most was, he had already set up a small array in the Qin family. Once there was an intruder, he would definitely notice it. But just now he didn't notice it at all. It could be seen that Kong Taichu must have some skills to be able to successfully break this array. Trash like you is not qualified to know my name. Jiang Tian sneered and said, Don't you know that I am the most powerful person in Wuxia? Wuxia's cultivation world is under my protection. How dare you have any ideas about Wuxia's cultivation world? You really don't know what's good for you. Quickly kneel down and kill yourself. Behind Qing Xian, Yindi burst out laughing. He took a step forward, puffed out his full chest and mocked. Jiang Tian, you really don't know what's good for you. How do you know what my master is capable of? My master is not human at all. He is an immortal. A real immortal. Compared to him, you are just an ant and not worth mentioning. Jiang Tian, this Taoist really admires you. You want me to kneel and commit suicide? How interesting. Qing Xian's facial expression changed a few times. She was so angry that she laughed. I am the Azure Mystic Sect's Taoist. Even in the Starry Sky Palace, even in the entire mystic realm, I am an existence that can do whatever I want. No one has ever dared to speak to me like that, to offend me in this way. I didn't expect that you, an abandoned person in the wasteland, would dare to do it. You're really daring. Qing Xian sipped his tea slowly. His handsome face was full of contempt as he mocked. Kong Taichu, it's impossible to produce a celestial immortal in such an environment. Not even an earthly immortal. I think you're just bragging. You're at most in the god realm, fishing for fame. The immortal state is very powerful in your world. But what you don't know is that in the mystic realm, deity realm experts are nothing but clay chickens and pottery dogs that can't even withstand a single blow. He put down his teacup and looked down at Jiang Tian as if he was looking at an ant. He said proudly, Now if you're willing to kowtow and admit your mistakes, become my servant, and repent in the Starry Sky Palace for 50 years, I'll spare your worthless life. Are you done? Jiang Tian said lightly. At this time, Situ Xiao, Hu Qingtian, Wei Feilong, and Zhao Yuanquan were already full of anger. They naturally knew how powerful the mystic realm experts were. But so what? How could they compare to Master Kong? That old dog Immortal Yuan was also trampled to death by Situ Xiao just now. And the cultivation methods that Situ Xiao used were all taught by Master Kong. If Master Kong were to attack, he would probably be killed with a finger. In Master Kang's world, everything could be controlled. No matter where he came from, he would be done for as long as he was controlled. Jiang Tian, you're not done. At this time, Qin Zongheng interrupted with a look of disdain. You're too ignorant. You don't know how terrifying the mystic realm experts are. They're really like immortals. No, to be exact, they're real immortals. He swung his sleeves and stood with his hands behind his back. He was full of pride and said proudly, "You'd better kneel down and beg for mercy. I'm now the disciple of the Taoist of Qing Xian. From now on, I'll take care of you. Qin Zongheng, you're really something. You even dare to call me by my name." Jiang Tian sneered. "Not bad. You're really stubborn, unruly, rebellious, and unruly. Didn't I learn this from Master Kong? If Master Kong can do it, why can't I, Qin Zongheng?" Qin Zongheng's face was full of mockery and no fear. He had been through a lot in the past 2 years. His temperament had undergone a drastic change. He was ruthless, and he believed in the survival of the fittest. After witnessing the power of Qing Xian, he had completely turned black and betrayed them. Ungrateful bastard. Coward. Think about it. Without Master Kong, you wouldn't be where you are today. Hua Qingtian snorted. What kindness did Jiang Taichu have to my family? What righteousness? Qin Zhong suddenly jumped out and roared angrily. He killed people and destroyed families at the drop of a hat. How can he be considered a good person? He destroyed the Bai family and suppressed the 6 major martial arts families of Yanjin. Wasn't it for power and cultivation resources? Without Kong Taichu, the Qin family would still be a martial arts family. No one would dare to mess with us. Tears welled up in his eyes as he shouted loudly. My son, Qin Xiaoxiong, offended him on the street, and I had no choice but to order Zongheng to cripple him. Otherwise, the Qin family would be doomed. Do you think I want to do that to my own son? After all, he is my flesh and blood. No matter how much my heart ached, I still had to do it. I still had to kneel down and apologize to Kong Taichu. Every time I went to the hospital and saw Xiaoxiong's tears, my heart would break. But Kong Taichu never comforted me. To him, everything was as it should be. Why? Qin Zhong was like a mad tiger. He waved his arms and legs and said hysterically, Isn't it just because his cultivation is strong? Now that the Qin family has an even more powerful backer, why can't I betray him? No. Qin Zhong suddenly wiped his tears and looked at Jiang Tian mockingly. I have never really surrendered to anyone. So this is not betrayal. I was just waiting for an opportunity. Waiting for an opportunity to suppress you, Jiang Taichu. Now the opportunity has come. Jiang Tian, to be honest, in my eyes, the difference between you and the Taoist of Qing Xian is like heaven and earth. You will never be able to catch up with him in your lifetime. After all, he came from the secret territory. When the Zhenyu Demon King rose to power, the European nobles thought so too, but what happened in the end? Wei Feilong shook his head regretfully. Qin Zhong, I can understand how you feel, but you're not smart enough. You are too stupid. The two of them are really difficult to deal with. Master, I am going to teach him a lesson. Situ Xiao frowned and snorted. Teach him a lesson. Jiang Tian chuckled and flicked his sleeve. Whoosh. Situ Xiao swayed and slapped Qin Zongheng in the face. Smack. Qin Zongheng was slapped to the ground. His cheekbones were broken and blood gushed out like a fountain. Moreover, Situ Xiao used a clever move to send him to Jiang Tian's feet. Master, save me. Qin Zongheng was stunned when Jiang Tian stepped on his chest. He could not believe it. Then he shouted at the Taoist of Qing Xian, Master, kill Kong Taichu. Strange. What is going on? The Taoist of Qing Xian was sweating. The maid in red was also shocked and surprised. Qing Xian had just attacked Situ Xiao and tried to save Qin Zongheng. However, it was too fast and Qin Zongheng did not notice it at all. However, he used several moves that were sure to win, but they were all resolved by Situ Xiao in minutes and seconds. Obviously, Situ Xiao's cultivation method was 10 times more powerful than the Tianqing palaces. Qing Xian, come here and let me play with you personally. I think you are not round enough. Jiang Tian waved at Qing Xian, and with a wave of his hand, he threw out the head of Celestial Master Yuan, which was the remains of the old dragon. Old Yuan. Qing Xian was shocked again. Immortal Yuan was his most trusted senior brother, so this time, he accompanied him out of the secret realm, and came to the secular world to find a suitable territory. He was also at the Earth Immortal realm, but he was killed. Could it be that Kong Taichu and his disciples already had a third-level foundation establishment expert? Thinking of this, Qing Xian wiped the cold sweat on his forehead and smiled. Your Excellency Kong Taichu, this time I came to the secular world and did not hurt Master Kang's family. Your father, Mr. Jiang Zhixing, your mother, Ms. Zhang Wanqing, and even your classmates and old friends, I have never disturbed them. He cupped his fists and said in a low voice, I'm only here to check on the recovery of Spirit Qi. I want to sit down and discuss with Grandmaster Jiang, and discuss the great plan of the recovery of Earth Spirit Qi. He glanced at Qin Zongheng, who was under Jiang Tian's feet, and said disdainfully, As for Qin Zongheng, he is ambitious, deceived his master, and is inhumane. He has repeatedly tempted me to become enemies with Master Jiang, but I have never agreed. He took himself out of the picture in a few words and said that he had no hostility to Jiang Tian, and admired him very much. I've really killed the whole zoo. Qin Zhong and his son felt as if they had been struck by lightning. They were dumbfounded and could not believe what they had just heard. Their eyes almost popped out, as if they had never seen such a shameless person. Chapter 854. Even the immortals are bowing down to Jiang Tian? Yandi's pretty face was as white as a sheet. Her delicate body was trembling slightly. She could not believe it. Qing Xiandaozi was an immortal from heaven. But he bowed down to Jiang Tian without even making a move. Could it be that Jiang Tian was more powerful than the immortals? Even if Qing Xiandaozi wanted to bow down, he should at least fight a few rounds with Jiang Tian. Qing Xian actually surrendered without a fight. This meant that Qing Xian thought that the gap between him and Jiang Tian was too big. However, from Jiang Tian's point of view, Qing Xiandaozi's choice could not be more natural. In the arcane realm, the strong were respected and killing was the way. It was obviously much crueler than Earth. Among them, the strong often faced the threat of death. Learning to run and beg for mercy was the basic ability to survive. In the cultivation realm, everyone basically picked on the soft persimmons. If they met the weak, they would kill them and plunder their treasures. If they met the strong and stupid, they would deceive, set up an ambush, and assassinate them. If they were smart and could not beat them, they would immediately run away. Who would do something like sending themselves to death. Now that Qing Xian could not figure out Jiang Tian's background, and did not have 100% chance of winning, he naturally would not show the slightest hostility. Qin Zongheng Yindi, look, this is what you think of as God? You think of as the immortals? He in front of me, he is just a dog. Jiang Tian laughed. After all, Qing Xian had not cultivated to the level of shrewdness. His face changed slightly and a trace of anger flashed past. Wu, why is it like this? Master, why don't you make a move? Qin Zongheng's face was filled with despair. He was like a stray dog in the cold wind, shivering. He did not expect that Jiang Tian did not make a move. Just the disciple made a move and suppressed Qing Xiandaozi. This was a guess from the arcane realm. An immortal. Jiang Tian, we're old classmates. Our families have been friends for generations. I was just confused. Don't kill me. Yendi was so scared that his soul almost left his body. He felt as if he had fallen into an ice cellar. His whole body was emitting cold air, and his legs were weak. He knelt down before Jiang Tian. I've given you so many chances. You should just die. Jiang Tian's smile was as warm as the spring breeze. He casually pointed his finger at Yendi's head and exploded it. Yendi's head exploded like a popped balloon, and his headless body fell to the ground. Just like that, he had become enemies with Jiang Tian, and was killed by Jiang Tian in a daze. Ants weren't suitable to participate in the battle between experts because they couldn't understand the world between experts. Qing Xian, you make it sound nice, but you can't fool me. I will still kill you. Jiang Tian said as he looked at the Taoist of the Qing Xian sect coldly. Master Kong, it's better to squash enmity than keep it alive. Seeing Jiang Tian's methods, the Taoist of the Qing Xian sect's pupils suddenly shrank. He immediately judged that Jiang Tian's cultivation was definitely not inferior to his. He rose into the air and retreated step by step. The Tianqing Palace has hundreds of real foundation establishment stage experts. My ancestor is still alive, and there are even experts who have reached the gold core stage. We all think that the conditions for the recovery of spiritual qi have been met. We will enter the wasteland world on a large scale soon. You have now offended Yi Tianren. Aren't you afraid of offending the Tianqing Palace? Aren't you afraid of provoking the anger of many insects? He activated all his techniques and his eyes were alert. He threatened while retreating. After a few threats, he had already retreated hundreds of meters away. Haha, how dare you threaten me? Jiang Tian smiled disdainfully. He just put his hands behind his back and said lightly, "In my eyes, the insects are just trash. I still want to deal with you." This was the second time that Jiang Tian had come into contact with people from the insects. Previously, it was Gudu Xiao and the others from the Langyi Academy. This time, it was the people from the Tianqing Palace. In Jiang Tian's view, the people from the insects occupied a lot of cultivation resources, and the spiritual qi was far beyond that of the secular world. However, compared with Jiang Tian's techniques, there was still a big gap. Whoosh! At this moment, Xianqing's speed soared rapidly. In an instant, he broke through 2 times the speed of sound. Like a meteor, he shot into the distance and disappeared into the night. This young master from the Tianqing Palace in the secret realm, this expert with the cultivation of a celestial immortal, abandoned Qin Zongheng's family, and ran away without caring about his own red-clothed maidservant and several other disciples. Can you run away? Jiang Tian waved his fingers. Qi. With a sound, a bright sword light broke through the air from the sky-devouring demonic gourd at his waist. The flying sword circled in the air, and instantly bypassed the necks of the few celestial immortals of the Tianqing Palace, and the red-clothed maidservant. Then, it turned into a flash of light that pierced through heaven and earth, and instantly chased after the Taoist of Tianqing Xian. Flying sword. There is actually such a sharp flying sword in the wasteland of earth. The red-clothed maidservant's lips trembled. She barely managed to say these words before she died completely. Before she died, her eyes were still filled with such an incredulous expression. In Wuxia's orthodoxy, only the Kunlun sect still retained the flying sword technique. Even the Amei sect of Shu Mountain could only be regarded as a sword technique. But how could Kong Teichu in front of him use a real flying sword? And the speed was so terrifying. A moment later, there was a rumbling sound. A few kilometers away, a dazzling blood-red rainbow shot straight into the sky. Then a huge kill character appeared in the sky thousands of meters above the ground. This character was incomparably huge, with a radius of 1,000 meters. It was very condensed, as if it was cast with blood essence. The red light was dazzling, and it emitted a torrential blood qi. Kong Teichu, you're so ruthless. You actually want to kill me. The Taoist of Tianqing Xian's unwilling roar came from the depths of the sky, with endless resentment and anger. I never thought that your cultivation would be so powerful. You've become a real celestial immortal. Or even higher. I'm not even as good as your disciple. Now, I don't hesitate to explode my Dantian and trigger the immortal trap formation to prove that the conditions for the recovery of spirit qi on Earth have been met. In a few days, many secret realms will invade the wasteland of Earth. You and everyone else will become our slaves. At the same time, I also issued a kill order for you. In many secret realms, whoever can kill you will be rewarded by my Tianqing Palace. Kong Teichu, you're dead. You're dead. Following his roar, huge kill characters covered the sky and flew into the sky like fighter jets, flying into the depths of the starry sky. These huge kill characters, after coming into contact with something deep in the sky, exploded with a loud bang. The entire sky above Yanjing was filled with red light. Huge red clouds covered the sky and the sun, making the starry sky dim. Then, the red clouds and red light quickly rolled and shrank after trembling and surging, and were completely absorbed by an inexplicable force. Kaboom! There was a burst of restlessness between heaven and earth, and there were bursts of deafening roars like muffled thunder. That's strange. Why is there thunder in the middle of winter? At this moment, tens of millions of people in the northern part of Wuxia were awakened from their sleep by this roar. What's going on? A deity has descended to the human world. Is the world going to change? They looked up at the sky in shock. revealing a look of disbelief and deep worry. This roar seemed to have the rhythm of the great Tao, and the world resonated with it. It was very magical and shocking. It should be a way for the immortal trap formation to transmit information. Kaboom! At this moment, in a cave deep in the Mount Tai pilgrimage grounds, there were 9 old men, whose eyes shone with a strange light as they raised their heads and looked at the sky. All of them had white hair, and their faces were aged beyond recognition. They wore ancient clothes, and all of them were different from each other. There were peddlers, drunkards, and butchers. They looked old and unsophisticated, as if they didn't belong to this era, but they were all disabled, blind, crippled, deaf. There were all kinds of them. The most severely disabled old man even had half of his head chopped off, but he didn't die. The sound of the great Tao is ringing, and the immortal trap formation is shaking. The heaven and earth cage has been activated. Who's going to become a sky immortal again? Damn it, the spirit chi on earth has been sucked dry. How can they reach the sky? Is it that kid from the heavenly being? Didn't we say not to let him reach the sky? Disaster! Disaster! The secret land and the ruins of deity will bring disaster. Our Hongmeng is going to battle again. Another battle. Our legs have been crippled by them. How can we fight? They exclaimed. Some of their eyes were filled with fear, some were shocked, and some were full of fighting spirit. Meanwhile, in the old house of the Yi family in Yanjing, bang! Yi Tianren, who was meditating with his legs crossed, suddenly stood up. His eyes were as sharp as knives. His vast soul energy shot up hundreds of miles into the sky like a heavy cannon. The cage. I finally see it. The cage of fences was real. It can imprison heaven and earth and block the path to immortality. Who triggered it? I heard that Kong Teichu has returned. Is it him? Yi Zhantian walked over quickly with a serious face. No, it's a guest from a secret land. Kong Teichu has killed him. His cultivation is still there. Yi Tianren's eyes were shining like bright lights. He flicked his sleeves and said in a deep voice, I will fight Jiang Taichu and tear apart this confinement of heaven and earth that is imprisoning us. A sky immortal wants to reach the sky and trigger the vibration of the immortal trapping array. Who is it? I heard that when the immortal trapping array vibrates, the world will change. It's time for the royal family to come out. At this moment, many overlords of the reclusive royalty in Wuxia felt the vibration of the immortal trapping array and looked up at the sky with a serious face. Some of them were fearful and uneasy, cowering like quails. Some of them had faces full of anticipation, eager to give it a try, and rub their palms together. The immortal trapping array is really something. At this moment, Jiang Tian stepped on the ground and looked up at the sky. His face was serious and his eyes were shining. He also felt the invisible cage. This cage was invisible and colorless. It was completely made of pure soul energy. It was like a supergiant net spanning 10,000 meters in the sky, connecting heaven and earth, enveloping the entire human world. Chapter 855. However, this soul energy didn't belong to the immortal will of a human cultivator. Instead, it was the power of a powerful array that covered the entire earth. It was as if countless invisible monitors were monitoring every move of the humans on Earth. If the Taoist of the Azure Mystic sect hadn't detonated his Dantian and triggered the deity trap array, Jiang Tian wouldn't have sensed his existence. It was made by a grand cultivator in the ancient times, and its creator might have been an overlord of the soul formation level or even higher. It was too mysterious and obscure. Anyone below the cultivation level of the person who set up the formation would not be able to detect the existence of the formation. Even if the deity trap array was triggered, only overlords above the earth-level deity level could sense it. The secret land wants to take over our world? Jiang Tian's eyes flashed with disdain. Haha, I'll kill as many as they come. This is a good thing. I've been looking forward to this day for a long time. Master Kong, can you give me another chance? When Jiang Tian looked away, Qin Zhong looked at Jiang Tian in despair and begged for mercy. At this moment, he was so regretful that he wished he could kill himself with a piece of tofu. What was going on? The overlord of the insect in the secret land whom he worshipped like a god was killed by Jiang Tian. That was ridiculous. Qin Zongheng, on the other hand, laughed crazily. He knew everything was over, completely over. Jiang Tian didn't lose his cultivation at all. He had surpassed the sky immortal level and could defeat the overlords of the secret land. What was going on? Kill him. Jiang Tian's expression was very calm as he said indifferently. Swish, swish, swish. Situ Xiao, Wuqing Tian, Wei Feilong and Zhao Yuanquan immediately attacked. Sword auras flashed and spears flew across the sky. Screams were heard. In just a few breaths' time, Qin Zongheng's entire clan was slaughtered. Not even a chicken or a dog was spared. Master, which family should we kill next? After all, many of them have betrayed us this time. Wuqing Tian frowned as the god-slaying spear was stained with blood. Wei Feilong, order the Wuxia Martial Arts Alliance to eradicate those martial arts families that have dared to challenge Tianqing School recently. Yes. Wuqing Tian, go to Diansong. Suppress them and occupy their training grounds. Yes. Feilong, Zhao Yuanquan, you two go to the Tianshan sect. Suppress them with force, and kill anyone who dares to disobey. Yes. Master. Situ accompany Ling, to Mount Shuzame Pavilion. The most important thing is to get the incomplete map of the ruins of immortality. The location of the southern heaven gate should be marked there. It's the path to the ruins of immortality. A trace of seriousness appeared in Jiang Tian's eyes. From the memories of immortal Master Yuan and Xianqing, he could sense that the hidden sect and the ruins of immortality had abandoned the wasteland on Earth in order to recuperate and allow Earth to once again possess the conditions to produce spirit qi. Then they would reoccupy it. Now that the great immortal trap formation was shaken and the hidden sect had arrived, perhaps even the ruins of immortality would attack. Jiang Tian was not afraid of these forces, but ordinary humans did not have the strength to resist them. Jiang Tian decided to take the initiative to attack and destroy the many hidden sects one by one, so that they would not dare to come to this world and do as they pleased. However, to resist foreign aggression, one must first stabilize the internal situation. Some martial arts forces had already become the hidden sect's guides. They had to be carefully screened and completely eradicated. That night at 4 o'clock in the morning, in the Tulip district of Yanjing's Second Ring Road. This high-end district, which easily cost 70 to 80,000 yuan per square meter, was desolate at this time. In addition to the heavy snow, even the security guards who usually patrolled the district had fallen asleep in the security room under the small sun. Ring, ring, ring. Han Qingli was awakened by a series of urgent phone calls. This was the sound of the house phone. Usually, she would turn off her phone and sleep. When it came to the house phone, no one would dare to disturb her unless something major happened. Therefore, although she was annoyed, she still got out of bed and picked up the phone. What's wrong? Qingli. The girl next to her yawned and opened her hazy eyes. If Jiang Tian was here, he would also recognize this girl. She was Yuan Ning, whom he had met a few times in southern Han's Tanjun Daoist Palace. She was also Song Shuangyan's best friend. However, since Song Shuangyan and Jiang Tian broke up, she left the Song and Lu families and became closer to Han Qingli. Both of them were Jiang Tian's loyal fans and discussed Jiang Tian's every move together every day. Han Qingli even announced that she would never marry in her life. She would not be able to find a husband like Jiang Tian anyway. Gradually, the two of them became very good friends and often drank tea and ate together. They also had some business cooperation. At this time, Yuan Ning's pair of beautiful eyes were blurred. The velvet quilt slipped, revealing a large area of snow-white skin, but she did not care at all. She was like a lazy Persian cat, extremely attractive. Nothing. It's probably something in the company. Han Qingli turned on the dim yellow desk lamp and rolled her eyes at her best friend. Can you be more dignified? You're going to be a mother soon. Ha, what's the problem? Anyway, I'm not afraid of you molesting me. Yuan Ning, on the other hand, was not sleepy anymore. She was laughing so hard that her body was shaking. You. Han Qingli was speechless and did not bother to talk to her. She asked through the microphone. Hello, Uncle 13, what's the matter? Zhang Shursen shouted excitedly over there. The whole villa of the Qin family fell into a sea of fire. Qin Zongheng and many senior executives who were in a meeting all died an unnatural death. No one was spared. What? Han Qingli's pretty face changed color and her delicate body shook. The snow-white waves in front of her chest were dazzling. The Qin family. That was a martial arts family. In the past, it could be on par with the Bai family in Yanjing. A giant monster was destroyed in a day. Chen Zifen, the head of the Qin family, and the heads of other martial arts families were all beheaded by flying swords. Zhang Shursan said excitedly again. Hearing this, Han Qingli was so shocked that she was numb. She could not come to her senses for a long time. Didn't this mean that the 6 martial arts families that dominated Yanjing, and even the whole Wuxia from the late Qing dynasty, the Republic of China, to the new society, were all destroyed overnight? In addition, more than 30 martial arts families in Wuxia who declared enemies of Kang Taichu were all destroyed. Hundreds of people died. Hearing this, Yuan Ning was so excited that she jumped up from the bed. Who is this? What a big deal. It's crazy to kill hundreds of people in one breath. Isn't he afraid of angering the government and the special department? This is the world of martial arts. As long as it doesn't affect the secular world, the government will ignore it. Han Qingli shook her head. These people who died were all those who betrayed Master Kong some time ago. Plus, such a ruthless and cruel method. Han Qingli frowned and pondered. Suddenly, her heart skipped a beat. A strange light flashed in her beautiful eyes. She murmured, "Is he back?" "I think so. Master Kong is really not to be blasphemed and violated." Zhang Shursan was excited. "Miss Han, we made the right bet this time. The benefits are endless." Who is back? Yuan Ning was still puzzled. It seems that Kang Taichu is still the most powerful person in Wuxia, and the only powerhouse on the divine list of the Holy See. Ignoring her best friend, Han Qingli, who was immersed in shock, had a strange light in her beautiful eyes. Her face was full of fanatical worship, as if she had seen a god. Almost in an instant, the situation took a turn for the worse. A piece of news secretly spread in Huaxia's upper-class society, shocking a group of people. The Qin family, one of the martial arts aristocratic families in Swallow capital, had been annihilated. Many of the other family heads who had betrayed Jiang Taichu had been beheaded. More than 10 families of various sizes had been trampled on by the Tianqing sect, and hundreds of martial artists had died. The entire martial arts world in Huaxia was shocked and frightened. Everyone couldn't sleep or eat well. They madly inquired about the news and the truth behind it. Who is it? How could he be so fierce and fierce? Does the Huaxialong formation not care? Does he want to let the culprit cause chaos in the world? If this goes on, the martial arts world in Huaxia will be set off a storm of blood, and even usher in the end. Just when all kinds of guesses and complaints were rampant, another piece of shocking news caused a huge uproar. This time, even many sects were affected. Some people said that in the Diansong Taoist sect, an old man in black attacked without saying a word, and blood flowed like a river. Zhou Zitao, the acting sect master of Diansong, was defeated. He led his disciples down Wuliang Mountain like stray dogs. In the Amei sword sect of Mount Shu, an old man and a girl attacked. The old man performed the sword controlling technique, and killed 3 immortal state elders with one strike. The Amei sword sect announced that they would close the mountain for 10 years. In the Tianshan sect, the mountain gate was broken by 2 overlords. Dozens of elders and elite disciples abandoned the Taoist sect and fled for their lives. No way, the Amei sect. They've been trampled. Did they announce that they would close the mountain? Diansong. Tianshan. The mountain gate was broken. Did I hear wrongly? Kang Taichu is too domineering. He's going to pierce the sky. This time everyone panicked. They were so scared that their souls were about to leave their bodies. They felt as if they were sitting on pins and needles. That was a semi-hidden sect. In the cultivation world of Huaxia, those semi-hidden sects were the most powerful, except for Wei Wei and Kunlun. Those semi-hidden sects had once shone brightly in history. They were as dazzling as immortals, but now they were trampled by Kang Taichu's disciples. That's Kang Taechu's domineering aura. Even if his cultivation is gone, he's still not someone that ordinary people can provoke. That's the domineering aura of the world's most powerful overlord. Kang Taechu's disciples are full of talents and powerful overlords. I'm afraid they're already on par with Kunlun and Hongmeng. That's right. A starving camel is still bigger than a horse. Tianqing School's power has been established. Kang Taechu has never been seen before. He's 5 of the 6 major sects in the world. That's right. Diansong, Tianshan, and the Amei Sword sect, plus Shinong School and Wudong sect, that's the 5 major sects. Kang Taechu is now strong enough to challenge Kunlun. Some people counted Jiang Tian's achievements with their fingers. They were shocked to the extreme. If you ask me, those clans and sects are asking for it. What does the competition between Jiang Taichu and Celestial Yi have to do with them? They've been provoking and mocking Jiang Taichu time and time again, and even threatened to besiege him. In Wuxia, there were still a group of Jiang Tian's fanatical followers, especially in the Martial Arts Alliance. They immediately cheered for Jiang Tian. However, there were also dissenting voices. Some onlookers were shocked and fearful. Some were just watching from the sidelines. However, there were also many people who didn't think Jiang Tian would win. God is watching what man does. Kang Taechu has caused so much bloodshed. He'll be punished by God in the future. Don't forget that Wuxia has always been a place of hidden dragons and crouching tigers. There are many hidden powerhouses. Wuxia isn't a place for him to be so unscrupulous. What's so great about Kang Taechu? He can't even defeat Yi Tianren. What's more, there's still Kunlun and Hongmeng behind him. Those who opposed Jiang Tian were very agitated. It was as if their mother had been insulted by Jiang Tian. Spittle flew everywhere as they madly criticized Jiang Tian. Chapter 856. Was Kang Taechu the one who did it? Could it be that Kang Taechu's cultivation has been restored? Someone asked in shock. No, according to witnesses, Kang Taechu didn't make a move from the beginning to the end. He didn't even show his face in many places. The killers were his disciples. Someone who was well-informed explained. In that case, Kang Taechu's cultivation shouldn't have been restored. Someone comforted himself. Then another shocking piece of news came. Yi Tianren has challenged Kang Taechu again. The battle will take place 3 days later at Yinding Mountain in the western suburbs of Yanjing. He hopes that Kang Taechu will be there in person. This piece of news attracted a lot of attention and caused a huge uproar again, especially those families and sects that had been trampled on by Jiang Tian. They were crying for their mothers and fathers as they complained with tears of blood. Yi Tianren can't sit still anymore. Kang Taechu is so fierce that Yi Tianren can't sit still anymore. He's going to suppress him. Yi Tianren is mighty and domineering. He's going to force Kang Taechu into a corner. Last time you hid abroad. This time you're in Wuxia. Where are you going to hide? Kang Taechu is a coward. He's lost his cultivation and doesn't dare to make a move himself. He's only letting his disciples do it. That's right. He's been hiding from Yi Tianren. Let's see where else he can hide this time. Suddenly, many families and sects saw hope and began to clamor crazily. Kang Taechu would definitely not be a match for Yi Tianren this time. That demon was finally done for. To Jiang Tian, eradicating those martial arts families that had betrayed him was just a small interlude in his life. He did not take it to heart at all. However, to Zhao Xueqing, this was no small matter. Although many insiders tried their best to hide it from Zhao Xueqing, they still couldn't hide it. Because her spiritual sense was too sharp. She could still sense the thick smell of blood on Jiang Tian's body. Jiang Tian, you've killed someone again. Zhao Xueqing's pretty face was as cold as ice as she angrily glared at Jiang Tian. I only killed a few people. Jiang Tian explained helplessly. Don't kill anyone. Zhao Xueqing said angrily. Although I don't believe in karma, your murderous aura will definitely disturb the baby. Prenatal education. Do you understand prenatal education? Don't you want your daughter to grow up healthily? Besides, at our level, what's the point of fighting for those empty titles? If they want to betray us, then so be it. Let's go our separate ways. Qing'er, the person I killed was no ordinary person. Jiang Tian had no choice but to tell her about the invasion of the Heavenly Star Palace and the hidden sect. In the end, he complained, I'm also doing it for world peace. I'm not killing people indiscriminately. I don't have any murderous aura. I'm righteous, okay? After listening to Jiang Tian's explanation, Zhao Xueqing was a little apologetic and said softly, I've wronged you. I didn't expect the hidden sect to act so quickly and start a monstrous war. I asked the disciples to occupy those sects because I wanted to save their lives. Jiang Tian explained. Otherwise, if the hidden sect or the ruins of immortality attacked, they would only have the fate of being cut down. I'm just repaying evil with good, okay? Okay, I understand your painstaking efforts. But there's no need to fight with Yi Tianren. Swords and sabers have no eyes. Qing'er said softly. Of course, there's nothing more important than accompanying my wife and child. Jiang Tian smiled and lay on his wife's stomach, listening to his daughter kicking and punching inside. The next day, accompanied by Secretary Shen, Jiang Tian came to the center of power in Wuxia and met with several senior officials in secret. Chen Yang, Chen Zhenming, Marshal Yi Ziwei, the Morgan family, and other representatives of Sidoni's business and financial circles attended the meeting. Both sides had a good chat and finalized an agreement on cooperation with the Coalition. Jiang Tian personally negotiated the cooperation with the Coalition. The other aspects were left to Yi Ziwei, Chen Zhenming, Marshal, and the others. They negotiated with the relevant departments in Wuxia on cooperation in major fields such as oil, finance, biotechnology, agriculture, and so on, and quickly reached a series of major cooperation intentions. Wuxia's oil, finance, biotechnology, agriculture, and many other industries were gradually opened to Sidoni, and the two sides carried out in-depth strategic cooperation. Rockefeller Oil, DuPont Agriculture, and so on were the first batch of companies to obtain business licenses and enter Wuxia's market. In this way, the pricing power of international oil prices, iron ore, and other commodities was directly in the hands of Wuxia. Sidoni's international status also rose. Then, accompanied by Zhang Qinzhen and the others, Jiang Tian, Chao Shixiang, and the other military officials inspected the Coalition system in the northern suburbs of Yanjin. This was the second Coalition in the world. Zhang Qinzhen had accumulated enough experience on the Coalition in Sidoni's Jiuxiao Peak, so the design and construction were quite smooth. There were a few small problems that were easily solved by Jiang Tian. The Coalition, codenamed Angry Star, was estimated to be operational within a year. After the work was done, Jiang Tian relaxed again. Every day he accompanied Qing'er, strolled around the major scenic spots in Yanjin, and chatted with the baby in his mother's womb. On this day, Jiang Tian's phone rang again, reporting to the emperor, there is an unruly citizen seeking an audience. However, this time, the unruly citizen was a name that Jiang Tian had not heard for a long time. Shen Le. Jiang Tian, I'm sorry to offend you. Do you have time? Shen Li's voice was a little apprehensive. Shen Lu, it's you. What's the matter? Jiang Tian asked indifferently, but there was a trace of affection in his eyes. After Jiang Tian's rebirth, the trajectory of his fate had changed completely. His relationship with Shen Lu was also different from his previous life. In his previous life, Jiang Tian lived in Linzhou for 5 years, and he accompanied Shen Lu day and night. They were very good brothers. Until the Jiang family completely collapsed, Shen Lu was crippled by Lu Wangfeng in order to protect Zhao Xueqing, and Jiang Tian committed suicide by jumping off a cliff. In this life, after Jiang Tian returned, he quickly eradicated Linzhou's Lu family and the 3 major families of Jinling. After that, Jiang Tian went further and further away, and his status became higher and higher. His contact with Shen Lu became less and less until there was no news. But in fact, this was not because Jiang Tian looked down on Shen Lu, but because Jiang Tian knew that he was going to walk on a road full of bloody storms. He did not want Shen Lu to be affected, so he deliberately distanced himself. Shen Lu did not expect Jiang Tian to be so intimate with him. He said excitedly, Zheng Li and I are going to get married. We plan to hold the wedding in Linzhou. I wonder if you can come and attend our wedding. As expected, it's her. You've succeeded. Congratulations. Jiang Tian's face was gratified, and then he said with a smile, how is the development of the Guangxia group now? In his previous life, Shenlu and Li Danny were in love. They met the wrong person, and their marriage was not happy. Zheng Li was actually Jiang Tian's college classmate, and she was also the niece of Zheng Jiuxuan, the tycoon of Linzhou real estate. Zheng Jiuxuan was one of the first people to follow Jiang Tian when he rose to power in Linzhou. He was part of the same group as Zhou Zhenghao and the third lord of the Tang family. Zheng Li and Shenlu met when Jiang Tian was setting up the array at King's Mansion No. 1. At that time, Jiang Tian felt that something was wrong with the way the two of them looked at each other. However, when Jiang Tian moved to Sidoni and started a construction boom, Zheng Jiuxuan's Guangxia group did not participate. Even Zhou Zhenghao and the third lord of the Tang family did not participate. This was because Tang Xiao's company was much more powerful, and they were more resistant to risks. Moreover, after Tang Xiaoza and the others moved to Sidoni, there was a large gap in the Lingnan market, and the Guangxia group needed to take over. Not bad. Shenlu said happily. The Guangxia group is now one of the top real estate companies in Lingnan, and its assets are close to 20 billion. I am now the vice president of the company, and I have 5% of the shares. Good. Very good. You are also worth hundreds of millions. Both your love life and your career are bountiful. Jiang Tian nodded and said cheerfully, I will definitely go. Don't worry, I will attend your wedding. Jiang Tian, you will really come. Shen Li's voice was filled with ecstasy. He slapped his thigh happily. I told Uncle Zheng that I wanted to invite you over, but he didn't let me. He said that you were too busy and had a lot of things to attend to every day. Besides, we've only been lovers for a few days, and we don't have a deep relationship. Haha, we are very close. Don't worry, I will go. Jiang Tian said with a smile. In this life, Jiang Tian and Shenlu did not have much interaction. However, in his previous life, Shenlu was a good brother who dared to block a knife for Jiang Tian. Jiang Tian would never forget this kindness. Jiang Tian hung up the phone and told Zhao Xueqing. Qing'er also agreed happily. She had long wanted to return to Linzhou. After all, she had more friends in Linzhou. She did not know many people in Yanjing. Master Kong, I have something to report. At this time, Special Envoy Shen and Chao Shixiang suddenly strode in. Jiang Tian frowned and said unhappily, Didn't I say that the official negotiations are over? Don't disturb me. Special Envoy Shen smiled bitterly and said, Master Kong, I am here on behalf of Yi Tianren to deliver a letter to you. He wants to invite you to Yending Mountain today to discuss Dao with him. He is not qualified to discuss Dao with me. Jiang Tian shook his head lightly and said disdainfully, Master, that Yi Tianren is so arrogant. Are you sure you don't want to compete with him? The date of the battle is today. Huaqing Tian immediately stepped forward and said unwillingly when he heard that Jiang Tian was leaving. He was a little superstitious about Jiang Tian. Ever since he followed Jiang Tian, he had never seen Jiang Tian lose. In his opinion, even if Yi Tianren became a celestial immortal, he would still be no match for Jiang Tian. Nothing is more important than attending my good brother's wedding. Jiang Tian waved his hand and said, This. Huaqing Tian and the others were speechless. This was a reason? Besides, I have not agreed to his challenge since I rejected it last time. Why should I compete with him just because he wants to? Jiang Tian sneered. That's right. Huaqing Tian was speechless. Why don't I fight with him? Situ Xiao stepped forward and snorted arrogantly. Forget it. Jiang Tian waved his hand and said, I know that the Hong sect and the Long Formation sect have a grudge against each other. You want to take this opportunity to seek revenge. You can suppress him. But Yi Tianren is not a bad person. Let's forget about this. Jiang Tian's target was the elites of the Yin sect. He did not care about Yi Tianren at all. Chapter 857. Jiang Tian was too lazy to say anything more. He grabbed Zhao Xueqing's slender waist and strode away. Special Envoy Shen and Chao Shixiang looked at each other and shook their heads bitterly as they watched Jiang Tian's back. Elder Chow, what should we do? Special Envoy Shen frowned and asked after leaving Jiang Tian's residence. Sigh. Chao Shixiang sighed and said, what else can we do? Yi Tianren came to us and asked us to help him send a message. We couldn't do it, so we can only tell him the truth. Special Envoy Shen also said helplessly, yes, one was the #1 martial artist in Wuxia 100 years ago. The other is the #1 martial artist in the world. One wiped out the demons and created the Huaxiaolong formation. The other swept the world and pushed Huaxia to the top of the world. They both contributed greatly to Huaxia. We can't afford to offend either of them. After the two left, they could only go to Yending Mountain and pay a visit to Yi Tianren, who was waiting for Jiang Tian. At this time, martial artists from all over the world had gathered here, waiting bitterly for Jiang Tian's arrival. Kong Taichu has something important to do. He can't come, Chao Shixiang said. Damn, he's not coming again. He made us wait for 3 days in vain. He's making a fool out of us. Many martial artists were so angry that they vomited blood. He must be afraid of Yi Tianren. He's hiding. If he doesn't have a group of martial artists following him, he's nothing. Someone mocked. Elder Chow, what's Master Kong doing? Yi Zhantian asked. He's going to attend a friend's wedding, Chao Shixiang said with a wry smile. That's a reason? Is a wedding that important? This is a battle with Yi Tianren. That's right, Celestial Yi has personally issued a challenge. What an honor this is. He's not coming just because he's going to attend a friend's wedding. He's shameless. Someone shouted in disbelief. It's just an excuse. You believe it? If you can't, just admit defeat. Yi Tianren first learned the ancient Daoqing lost knowledge, then he joined the Kunlun sect. He wants to go for the world and join the Brahmin and Buddhism. Kong Taichu can't compare to him. Some experts were very certain that Jiang Tian would not make it, and were very disdainful of Jiang Tian's actions. Celestial Yi looked at him with burning eyes and smiled bitterly. Old Chow, don't hide it from me. I already know. Jiang Taichu said that I'm not qualified to discuss Dao with him. What? Jiang Taichu really said that? Crazy. How arrogant. Jiang Taichu is nothing compared to Celestial Yi. He's. Everyone exclaimed. Some even scolded him. Even when Jiang Taichu was at his strongest, in the eyes of everyone, he was only on par with Heavenly Yi. Moreover, his cultivation had dropped. He could only rely on a bunch of flattering disciples to show off. Sigh. Seeing this, Special Envoy Shen could only shake his head and smile bitterly. Before this, they wanted to help Jiang Tian hide the truth. At least, they didn't want to make Yi Tianren angry. But it was obvious that Yi Tianren's mind power was vast. He had already found Jiang Tian, and locked on to his every move. Yending Mountain was dozens of kilometers away from Jiang Tian's villa. It was obvious how terrifying Yi Tianren's mind power was. I didn't expect that the old man still couldn't catch Kong Taichu's attention after 100 years of hard work. Yi Tianren shook his head and sighed. Then a sharp light flashed in his eyes. Well, if he doesn't come, I'll go to Linzhou to find him. I'd like to see what he's capable of. After that, Yi Tianren stepped into the air and ascended to the sky. Step by step, he walked toward the south. Many experts who were waiting on the mountain exclaimed in surprise. Celestial Ye's movement technique was like that of a true god. Kong Taichu is in Linzhou. Let's go there first and find him. Many martial artists from Huaxia and even experts from all over the world sneaked into Linzhou. At this time, Jiang Tian had already arrived in Linzhou to attend Shen Lu and Zheng Li's wedding. However, before that, Jiang Tian and his wife went back to Zhao Huqing's house. Returning to Linzhou once again, Jiang Tian could not help but sigh. In his last life, he left this world in Linzhou. In this life, he was reborn here. However, many of his old friends had left this city or this world. Sister Qianru. At the door of the Gazing Lake Villa, the two sisters met and hugged each other tightly. Qing'er was returning home for the first time since she followed Jiang Tian to Sidoni. The whole family was very happy. Go home. Go home. You're pregnant and weak. You can't stand the cold. Zhao Huqing greeted them warmly. He had already retired early. The 1 billion yuan earned from the sale of Zhao Pharmaceutical to Medicine King Group was all invested into Chen Jinming's One-Eye Fund through the Jiang family. The One-Eye Fund made a lot of money by shorting the world and hunting big countries. Zhao Huqing's assets also multiplied several times. His life was comfortable and carefree. Sure enough, it's just as I expected. At this time, Jiang Tian looked at Zhao Huqing's eyes and a strange look appeared on his face. However, Jiang Tian pretended as if nothing had happened and continued to chat with Zhao Huqing, Wei Fang, and Zhao Qianru. Brother-in-law, I heard that Sidonie is doing well now. I want to move there. You have to leave a big villa for me. After not seeing her for a few years, Zhao Qianru had become more and more charming and cute. However, she had a hint of dignity and was a little like a city beauty. No problem. Now that Sidonie is settled, all of you move there. Jiang Tian laughed. Sigh, Jiang Tian is really promising. He's too promising. Wei Fang was even more impressed with Jiang Tian and couldn't stop smiling. Okay, we'll all move there. I'll also bring my grandson and enjoy the joy of family. The current son-in-law was different from the past. How many people in the world could compare to him? This time, they all came back on a private plane. After lunch, the family sat on the sofa and ate fruits. Zhao Xueqing asked with a smile. Qianru, what do you do now? Zhao Qianru said excitedly. I'm a pig standing in the limelight now. I'm an online streamer, a somewhat famous internet celebrity. Moreover, I've signed a few good-looking and talented streamers and set up a live stream company. I can earn a few million a year. Live stream? Don't tell me it's the Watch Me platform? Jiang Tian asked. It was the end of 2011 and was about to enter 2012. In his previous life, live stream was a new thing that would only appear in a few years. In this life, many things had changed because of the butterfly effect of his return. That's right. How do you know about that platform? Zhao Qianru smiled and said, Brother-in-law, are you so bored that you even watch live streams? Occasionally. Jiang Tian smiled faintly and thought to himself. This platform was set up by Zhang Yilin, but I invested in it. Speaking of which, he was the boss behind this platform. Zhang Yilin was just a representative. Sister, you have to be careful. Zhao Qianru smiled mischievously and said, The young ladies on the platform are very seductive. Don't steal brother-in-law's soul away. Hee, in this world, no one can steal your brother-in-law away from me. Zhao Xueqing rolled her eyes at her. Zhao Xueqing knew how deep Jiang Tian's feelings for her were. Many people admired Jiang Tian, but he never cared about them. Zhao Qianru smiled and then said, By the way, watch my live stream tonight at the Linzhou Convention and Exhibition Center. I'm holding the annual Internet Celebrity Livestream Celebration. Do you want to go with me? She took out an event plan and handed it to Jiang Tian. Jiang Tian looked at it. This event was jointly sponsored by Jones Jewelry, Aniline, and Bordeaux Winery. The event included a celebration reception, an Internet Celebrity Talent Show, and the selection of the strongest Internet Celebrity of the year. The Internet celebrities on my platform will have a talent show on the spot. Fans and audience will give gifts. Through the amount of gifts given, the ranking will be calculated to select the strongest Internet celebrity of the year. What was interesting was that the gifts given were not the common virtual gifts, but real products of Jones Jewelry, Aniline, and Bordeaux Winery. The netizens and fans would buy these gifts through the platform and give them to the streamers. These streamers could take the gifts away or sell them at the original price to several brands. It seemed that Jiang Bangxia was also in charge of these luxury brands in Europe. She chose to cooperate with the Watch Me platform, which could greatly increase the popularity of brands such as Jones Jewelry and increase sales. At the same time, it could also increase the popularity of the Watch Me platform, achieving a win-win situation. Qinger, are you willing to go? Jiang Tian asked Zhao Xueqing for her opinion. I'm fine with going. Zhao Xueqing smiled and looked at Zhao Qianru mockingly. I want to see what kind of dance Zhao Qianru can perform with her old arms and legs. What kind of songs can she sing with her broken voice? Jiang Tian hesitated for a while. He did not take these internet celebrities seriously and did not have a good impression of them. Many internet celebrities can make a lot of money with their Korean plastic surgery faces, shaking their legs, and singing out of tune. In this era, there was too much entertainment. No one cares about a general's grave, but the whole world knows about an entertainer's family. Brother-in-law, you have to support me because I will donate all the money I earn from this event. Zhao Qianru smiled and said, I will not be singing and dancing normally. I will be interviewing heroes and spreading positive energy. Is there anyone watching this? Jiang Tian was surprised. Of course. Zhao Qianru said seriously. For example, I have been following a drug enforcement hero recently. He died in a drug enforcement operation 2 years ago, and his child was only 3 years old. However, his wife donated all the pension money to the city's drug rehabilitation center. She opened a small restaurant and supported her family, regardless of wind or rain. Zhao Qianru was touched. I feel that these nameless heroes should not be forgotten. Everyone should understand that it is not easy for us to live a happy and stable life now. They sacrificed their lives for it, and we should cherish it. Chapter 858. For a moment, the entire living room fell silent. Jiang Tian and Zhao Xueqing looked at Zhao Qianru without saying a word. What's wrong? Did I say something wrong? Zhao Qianru stared with her big watery eyes and said in surprise. You're right. Zhao Xueqing gave a thumbs up. Jiang Tian also praised. That anti-drug hero is amazing, so are you. There are always people who don't give up, don't abandon, and want to make this terrible world better. Even give up their lives for it. Io. How embarrassing. In an instant, Zhao Qianru's face turned red. This was the first time she was praised by her brother-in-law. You're shy when you're doing something serious. You're not shy when you're not serious every day. Zhao Xueqing said angrily. Zhao Qianru smiled proudly. Other than that, I also expose ugly phenomena and broadcast all kinds of events live. It's similar to an undercover reporter. This is called punishing evil and promoting good. The heroine of the modern era, Little Ruru. However, anti-drug heroes and even their families are very easy targets for revenge. You have to be careful about this. Jiang Tian said seriously. Don't worry about that. I'll deal with it at my discretion. Many times, I've even added special effects. Zhao Qianru said. Most of the time, I'm just interviewing the deeds and forming words and stories to tell the fans. Why don't we go to that anti-drug hero's family to take a look? Moreover, it's an old friend. You should have an impression of him before. Zhao Qianru suggested. What old friend? Jiang Tian was surprised. You'll know when we get there. Jiang Tian and Zhao Xueqing were on vacation and had nothing else to do, so they agreed readily. Zhao Xueqing was merciful, and even planned to donate some money from the Medicine King Group's charity fund to the hero's widow. In a dilapidated bun shop in a dilapidated urban village in Linzhou City's Dragon District, Zhao Qianru found the hero's widow called Sister Li. The bun shop wasn't big, but it was clean and spotless. There wasn't a single speck of dirt or water stains. The tables and chairs were old, but they were clean and tidy. Even the most inconspicuous corner of the room was clean. There was no dust or cobwebs. The towel in Sister Li's hand was even whiter than the towels in hotels. Isn't this your favorite Zilongbao shop? Seeing elder Sister Li, Jiang Tian and Zhao Xueqing were stunned. This elder Sister Li originally opened a steamed bun shop under Zhao's Medicine in Lakeview Park. It turned out that Zhao Xueqing liked to eat breakfast there the most. She would even take it home and cook it for supper at night. But later, the steamed bun shop moved away for some reason. Jiang Tian looked for it several times but couldn't find it. He didn't expect them to move here. Xueqing. Why are you here? You haven't eaten my buns in years. Elder Sister Li was in her 30s. She was dressed plainly, but she was quite pretty. Elder Sister Li, how are you doing? Your husband. Zhao Xueqing held her rough hands and asked excitedly. During the most difficult times, Zhao Xueqing sometimes didn't even have enough money to pay for her meals. She would often pay on credit at Elder Sister Li's restaurant, saying that she would pay at the end of the month. Elder Sister Li never said anything and never exposed her embarrassment. Every time Zhao Xueqing ate here, she would add an extra spoonful of soup and give her a few more buns to take away. Although it wasn't worth much, it could solve Jiang Tian's family's urgent needs. That warmth was like a bonfire in a world of ice and snow. It warmed people's hearts and made Zhao Xueqing feel that there was still hope in this world. It was still beautiful, and she could still hold on. My husband was a special agent, which is often referred to as an undercover agent in the movies. He worked too hard and sacrificed himself in a mission a few years ago. The rent in Lakeview Park was too expensive, so I could only rent a shop here. Elder sister Li's eyes reddened. Then she smiled and said, "But he's slowly getting better now. Qing'er, how are you? It seems that your husband has recovered." During Qing'er's saddest and most desperate days, she hid the fact that she had a crazy husband from most of her best friends, and classmates. Because it was useless to say more. Very few people sympathized with her. In exchange, she would only be scorned and ridiculed. However, she often discussed Jiang Tian's condition with elder sister Li, telling her the worries and pressure in her heart. Elder sister Li comforted her a lot, and was also an outlet for her to vent her emotions. "He's fine now. He's really fine now." Thinking of the miserable days a few years ago, Zhao Xueqing's mouth was full of smiles, but her eyes were slightly red. Her pair of clear and beautiful eyes were filled with mist and tears. It wasn't easy for her to come this far. Happiness comes after suffering. I told you, there's no obstacle in this world that can't be overcome. Elder sister Li smiled happily. "You hung your husband's portrait here. Aren't you afraid that someone will take revenge on you?" Jiang Tian looked at the picture of elder sister Li's family hanging on the wall, and asked worriedly. "It can't be hidden. My husband's identity as a spy was exposed during a mission, and he was killed," elder sister Li said calmly. "Besides, I believe that evil will never prevail over good. If those drug dealers dare to come looking for trouble, I'll fight them to the death. I'm just trying to find the culprits who killed my husband. Behind me is the country, the government, the people. What do I have to be afraid of?" Jiang Tian nodded. This woman was soft on the outside, but strong on the inside. She was awe-inspiring and had a deep sense of righteousness. She was really admirable. My husband didn't die in vain. When he died, he didn't reveal any other secrets. The drug trafficking network was finally destroyed. Dozens of people were caught. Elder sister Li smiled and said, "Sister Qing'er, what do you want to eat? I'll make it for you." "It's the same old thing. 3 trays of soup dumplings and 2 bowls of pork liver soup. I've been missing this taste." Zhao Xueqing smiled. A moment later, elder sister Li finished making the soup dumplings and steaming pork liver soup. She served them in front of Jiang Tian and the rest, and chatted with Jiang Tian and the rest. At this time, elder sister Li's son came back from school. He was wearing a school uniform, a pair of shoes, and a bright red scarf. He was unbelievably plain. However, his eyes were firm and bright. He smiled shyly and obediently laid on the dining table to do his homework. At this time, Jiang Tian asked, "I heard that your mother-in-law is paralyzed in bed." "Yes. It was caused by a stroke. Her son was sacrificed. She couldn't take the shock," elder sister Li said calmly. "I'll go take a look," Jiang Tian said. "You'll go take a look?" Elder sister Li was surprised. "My husband's medical skills are very good. He can definitely cure her." Zhao Xueqing smiled. "That's great. I'll go with you." Elder sister Li was overjoyed. "Elder sister Li, there are still customers here. You don't have to go. Just let your son bring us there." Zhao Qianru looked at the customers and said, "All right." Elder sister Li nodded. This small shop was her capital to settle down. It was not good to neglect those customers. Elder sister Li asked her son to bring Jiang Tian, his wife, and Zhao Qianru to the residence in Shantytown to see her mother-in-law. She stayed in the shop to entertain the customers. After a while, a few luxury cars such as Mercedes-Benz and BMW drove over quickly. With a few screeching sounds, they braked and stopped at the door. In addition, there were a few vans with a few big words on the door. Unju Demolition Company. The door of the BMW opened. A middle-aged man wearing a mink cloak and gold jewelry walked in with a cigarette in his mouth, surrounded by several big men in black. Yi, what are you doing here? Elder Sister Li frowned and asked. This Yi was the leader of the gang that her husband was undercover. When her husband was undercover, he was Yi's underling. After Yi saw Elder Sister Li, he was shocked. He privately sent luxury cars and branded bags, wanting to win over Elder Sister Li. However, Elder Sister Li naturally did not accept. Later, although Yi's gang was destroyed by the police, he was very good at anti-reconnaissance and did not leave any direct evidence. After being investigated, he was released on bail for medical treatment. After a year, Yi changed and became one of the top real estate developers in Linzhou. This urban village had been bought by Yi for 1 billion. It was going to be completely demolished and developed into a large commercial complex. Elder Sister Li paid rent here for 5 years, but she was suddenly notified that it was going to be demolished. She had to leave immediately. Her life was originally poor. She only relied on a small bun shop to support her paralyzed mother-in-law and provide for her children's education. The 5 years of rent was not a small sum to her. She could not refuse it. However, Yi refunded the rent of the other tenants, but he refused to refund the tens of thousands of yuan to Elder Sister Li. It was obvious that he was targeting her. Li, do you regret it now? Yi sneered and said, Back then, I desperately pursued you. I gave you a mansion and bags, but you didn't even look at them. But you insisted on following that dead man. In the end, he died and left you orphans and widows. You don't even have a place to live. My villa is very spacious. I have a 3-meter wide bed. Why don't you sleep on my bed tonight? Yi, you've gone too far. Elder Sister Li was so angry that her body trembled. I've gone too far. Yes, I've gone too far. What can you do? Yi pulled a chair and sat down. He crossed his legs and chewed on a large nut. He sneered. No one can mess with me. Look behind me. The top gangsters in Linzhou, the boss of Pink Entertainment City, the curator of Dewey Martial Arts Club are all my little brothers. Haha, in my eyes, you're not even worth a strand of Yongjun's hair. Elder Sister Li said with a mocking face. You're just a cancer in society. You're just parasites that lie on other people's bodies and suck their blood. Yes, we're parasites. But in this society, killing people and arson are golden belts. Building bridges and paving roads are not corpses. Yi smiled proudly. Yongjun is dead, but I'm still alive and well. Money, luxury cars, big villas. I have everything I want. Singers, models, female university students. Women, I can change them however I want. He stretched out his hand and his subordinate handed him a large suitcase. After he took it, he took out a stack of cash and slammed it on Elder Sister Li's face. He snorted. Don't you want money? Don't you want me to refund the rent? 1 million. Sleep with me tonight. Chapter 859. In your dreams. Sister Li shouted angrily. 2 million? Is that enough? Yi smashed another stack of cash on her face and mocked her. Get lost. Sister Li shouted. Slap. Yi suddenly stood up and slapped Elder Sister Li's face, causing her to fall to the ground. The neighbors on the street witnessed the scene, but none of them dared to say anything. Yi was too domineering. He had committed all kinds of crimes in Linzhou. Someone had complained that the demolition fee was not enough, so he dared to set the house on fire, but the police could not find any evidence. Dragon Fifth was dead in Linzhou. Zhou Zhenghao and Third Master Tang had moved to Yangcheng to do legitimate business. The new generation replaced the old, and Yi was the biggest. Everyone in Linzhou knew of Yi's notoriety, and no one dared to provoke him. Suddenly, a police car came to a stop. A police officer got out of the car and shouted, Yi, you've crossed the line. She's the widow of a hero. Oh, Captain Zhou. Yi turned around and said, It's just an economic dispute. It's none of your business. Yi, don't hit her. Captain Zhou shouted. It's just a hit. I can pay for it. Yi sneered and threw the box at Sister Li's head. Ouch. Sister Li screamed and fell to the ground. Her head was bleeding profusely. That's enough. Yi. Captain Zhou pointed at Yi's nose and walked up to him. You still want to arrest me? I gave her money and she didn't take it. Are you blaming me? Yi shouted back. Who gave you the right to call me by my name? You don't fucking know who I am. How many people in the country have the guts to mess with me? You don't know my background. Captain Zhou's face turned cold, but so did his heart. Yi's background was complicated. Rumor had it that he was the illegitimate son of a mysterious family in Zhejiang province. Rumor had it that when the family head came to Linzhou, even the city leaders had to greet him personally. He was not someone Chun Fan could touch. Rumor had it that the family head's influence in Zhejiang province, and even the whole country. That was why Yi was so arrogant. Really? Are you very strong? Does he have a powerful background? Suddenly, a cold voice was heard. Yi turned his head to take a look, and saw a rather handsome young man, who was escorted by two stunning beauties, walking over. Elder sister Li's son hurriedly ran over to help her up. With tears in his eyes, he shouted with concern, Mom, what happened to you? Yi, how dare you beat up a hero's widow? Jiang Tian's eyes turned cold as he said coldly, Kneel. You motherfucker. Yi was halfway through his sentence. Pa. Jiang Tian gave him a slap, and Yi flew 10 meters away like a dead dog. Well done. This brat deserves a beating. He had committed all kinds of crimes and bullied the widow of a martyr. You're worse than an animal. He's a bully and has done all sorts of bad things. Someone should have dealt with him long ago. Everyone was in an uproar. Thunderous applause filled the sky as they loudly applauded. Brat, you're courting death. The curator of the Dewey Martial Arts Club raised his eyebrows, and his eyes suddenly became cold. He had been practicing ancient martial arts since he was a child, and had already reached the transcendent state. Moreover, his responsibility here was to protect Yi. However, he secretly gathered his true qi and threw a punch at Jiang Tian. However, before his fist touched Jiang Tian had already flicked his finger. Bang. Bam. The man flew more than 10 meters away with a big hole in his chest. Blood spilled out, and he died in the blink of an eye. What? This? Many of the onlookers present were shocked to the point of being dumbfounded. They stood there like clay sculptures. This young man was really domineering. He slapped Yi in the face in public and sent the curator of the martial arts club flying with a flick of his finger. Only Zhao Qianru was happy. She used the Watch Me Live broadcast software to broadcast the scene live, and told the story. What? How dare you kill someone? Kill someone on the street? Even Yi was stunned. His eyes were full of shock and fear. Even if he relied on his identity as Yi Wudao's illegitimate son, and had a powerful backer, he wouldn't dare to kill someone on the street. But in a flash, Yi calmed down. After all, Leaf Dao Denier had told him that Jiang Taichu was no longer their backer, but rather, someone even more powerful than him. In Wuxia, as long as you didn't provoke the government, there was nothing you couldn't provoke. You are a martial artist, a transcendent master? But do you know who I am? I am Yi Wudao's son. Yi roared angrily. Yi Wudao is a chicken feather. I can kill him with a single slap. No one dares to provoke you? So what if I provoke you? Jiang Tian revealed a mocking smile as he walked over. Pa. Bang. Yi broke his knee. Blood spurted out, and Yi suddenly let out a heart-wrenching scream like a pig being slaughtered. Bang. Jiang Tian kicked again, and cleanly crippled his other leg. You, who the hell are you? How dare you kill someone? I will have you arrested. Yi screamed in pain and threatened Chun Fan with a menacing smile. How dare you arrest Master Kong? Who gave you the courage? Suddenly, a majestic voice came up. Everyone was shocked. Surrounded by a group of government officials, a middle-aged man who looked elegant and capable walked over quickly. The number one in the province, Tang Weiman, the old secretary of Linzhou City. He's a good cadre of the party, a master of justice. The onlookers clapped and cheered. The man was the mainstay of the Tang family, Tang Weiman. Thanks to Jiang Tian's connections, the Tang family was at the top of the political world in Wuxia. He was in the prime of his life and had a bright future ahead of him. What? He is Master Kong. Yi Ji's expression changed drastically as he looked at Jiang Tian. He was scared out of his wits, as if he had seen a ghost in broad daylight. Although he was only the illegitimate son of Yi Wudao, he had heard of Chen Fan's majesty, the chief instructor of battle dragon martial arts, the strongest man in Wuxia, the leader of the Heavenly Alliance. He was a terrifying existence that could shake a country and kill tens of thousands of people. Although he had only heard rumors and only knew bits and pieces, far less than Moyuza, he also knew that Jiang Tian was definitely not someone he could afford to offend. Yi Ji, the province has been secretly investigating you for many years, and has formed a complete chain of evidence. Tang Weiman put his hands behind his back and said majestically, "Now your backer is about to be finished. We will kill both the tiger and the fly. We will not let you go, you fly. Master Kong, please forgive me. I know I was wrong. My father, Yi Wudao, is your disciple." Yi Ji's body trembled as if he had been struck by lightning. Then he crawled to Jiang Tian's feet like a dead dog and kowtowed and begged for mercy. "Since when did my disciples have such scum as the Yi family?" Jiang Tian flicked his sleeves and sneered. He was very angry. He didn't know how many bad things Yi Wudao had done in his name, and in the end they betrayed him. It seemed that he had to get rid of all evil. The next step was to cut off all the branches and tendrils of the Yi family in the entire Wuxia. "Arrest them," Tang Weiman shouted majestically. "Yes." Captain Zhou's face lit up as he shouted excitedly. He was too excited. He knew that the higher-ups of the police wanted to play a big game. Sure enough, they didn't let him down. Yes, justice may be late, but it would never be absent. He took the lead and kicked the leader of the hooligans to the ground. Just as the leader of the thugs got up and tried to run away, Captain Zhou smashed the thug's leg with his baton. Clatter! Dozens of heavily armed police officers swarmed forward and handcuffed Yi Ji and all his companions and henchmen. "Secretary Tang, they are the culprits who killed the martyrs," Jiang Tian said in a cold tone. "I suggest that these criminals be severely punished. In addition, let them hold the martyr's portrait and kneel in front of the martyr's tomb for 3 days and 3 nights to repent. This will promote social justice and deter criminals. They are the cancer of society." Master Kang's words are very reasonable. It should be so. Tang Weiman didn't say a word and immediately gave the order. The police officers escorted Yi Ji and other criminal suspects to the police car, and went straight to the cemetery of martyrs. As for Yi Ji's broken legs, no one cared at all. Blood gushed out of his body as he screamed miserably. He knew pain now, but how could the hero not feel pain when he killed the anti-drug hero? When he bullied the hero's widow and orphans, he was extremely vicious. When did he show any mercy? How much did Yi Ji spend to buy this area? Jiang Tian asked with a frown. 1 billion, Master Kong. A person in charge of Lin Zhou quickly stepped forward and said respectfully, "However, most of Yi Ji's funds were obtained illegally. I'm afraid that they will be confiscated according to the law. This land will also have to be auctioned again." "Okay, whether it's 1 billion or 10 billion, I will buy it." Jiang Tian called Yi Ziwei and briefly explained the situation. After hanging up the phone, he looked at Tang Weiman and said, "I have no interest in being a black-hearted real estate developer and raising the price of property. This land and the entire project will be given to the martyr's widow, Sisterly. She will be in charge of the development. Master Kong, you are a righteous man who treats money like dirt. I really admire you." Tang Weiman was moved from the bottom of his heart. Sisterly was a little confused. She didn't expect the matter to be resolved like this. She was already in despair. Yi Ji's huge power and unparalleled authority were famous. No one dared to provoke him, no one could stand up for him, and no one could protect the widow and orphan. She was so tough just now because she couldn't take it lying down. But she knew in her heart that no one could control Yi Ji. But she didn't expect that Yi Ji would be beaten half to death in the blink of an eye. Moreover, the big tiger behind him was about to be defeated. Moreover, her mother-in-law's stroke was also cured by Jiang Tian. She could even get out of bed and walk. Jiang Tian even wanted to give her 10 billion. Was this the same Jiang Tian who used money to light cigarettes and drank like a lunatic? You're tuning in to the Limei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.